Great Monday morning, everybody. How's it going? Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Welcome to the week that will be, at least the portion in which your midday hang is involved. It's Andy and Elsten on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We're together in our Odyssey studios overlooking currently rainy Murphy Canyon. Who knows what the rest of the day spells out? Annie Halburn is here. I'm Craig Elsten, joined as always by Braden Soprenet for 4 hours of live local San Diego sports audio entertainment, bridging the gap between Misters Ben and Woods and Los Senores Gwen and Chris this afternoon. What's going on, Annie? How are you?
Good morning. Hope everyone's having a good Monday. It's a little gloomy and rainy out there, but one of those mornings, if you are working remotely or you can, just stay in and stay snuggled up and get to listen. And hopefully we have some good interactive show here.
What's going on, Braden?
Happy 1 Point Monday. Got a point in the
Thank you.
standings. There you
Thank
go.
you. Happy Result Monday.
That's
1 point
right.
Monday.
1 Point Monday.
Got something out of it.
I've done the weather app is killing me, saying it's supposed to be sunny all day. It's not.
Yeah.
The weather app got lazy on us, just assuming it was going to be sunny and 75 every day in San Diego. Didn't do their homework last night, apparently.
Yeah. Just turned in the old Kelly Danick old report.
That's right.
Didn't go for the new one.
That's why you got to watch, Megan on Channel 10.
Yes.
Because she's dialed in on the weather. So
Precisely. The most accurate.
that's right.
Well, we're all here together. We're ready to roll for the next 4 hours. We've got a great show lined up for you today, as usual. Mondays, catch everything that's happened the last 2.5 days. So we got plenty to get through, even in this, somewhat slow time. Time's about to accelerate. Crazy. As soon as we get, one more week, basically, of conference play for our local college basketball teams, then we'll be into this.
Yeah, we're here. It's March.
It's March.
It is March. March has arrived.
March.
We're already 3 days in. Here we go. Day 3 of March.
Conference tournaments have already started.
Yes.
The A's son. R.I.P. Stetson. Stetson lost last night.
Gotta say,
season's over.
Haven't been caught up on the old A's son. It's about time to get into the A's son.
I think it's time for you to get dialed, Craig. We got conference tournament games every night from here on out.
Do I have to get dialed on the A's son?
You got to get your bearings for your bracket.
Fair.
It's a little teaser, teaser to get you going.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about the A's son there, Craig, you don't have to stay up late to watch it because they're on the East Coast. They'll be tipping off at like 4 o'clock.
Perfect.
That is true.
Get a little taste of March.
March is here.
March is here.
Well, yeah, as we continue forward, we're approaching now. We're now 3.5 weeks from Padres actual baseball, right? Yeah, 24 days. 24 days, that's 3.5 weeks.
Yeah.
So we're getting there. This is that weird, I don't know, maybe next week I'll say the same thing, but it just feels like right now spring training is just severance. It's just showing up every day, just bloop, here we are.
Mm-hmm.
Bloop, here we are again. And, that's basically good news. Normally the news that comes out of spring training isn't the news you want. I'll give you an example. Atlanta Braves catcher Sean Murphy cracked a rib yesterday in batting practice. Now he's going to miss the start of the season. That's the news you don't want.
Right. You just want health. Health is the most important thing in spring training.
Yeah. Boring. Everyone showed up, did their thing, and left is awesome.
Yes.
And yet we try to find a way to chat about it. We will with you in our 11 a.m. Padres Deep Dive Hour today. Sam Levitt will join us for his thrice weekly spring training appearances. He'll be back Wednesday and Friday. Today is an off day at Peoria Sports Complex. No show.
Mm-hmm.
Go hit the golf course. Go do whatever you want to do, but don't show up here. I'm sure some guys still show up.
Yeah, probably get a little something in.
Nonetheless, Sammy won't be showing up. Day off.
Nor should he.
Yeah, day off. So he'll join us from his Airbnb. We'll chat to him about what's happened over the course of the weekend that was. That will be kicking off the Padres Deep Dive Hour at 11 a.m. And through the rest of it, we'll take a look at, what's happened in spring training so far. Is there any meaning to be found, or is it all noise? We'll look at some of the stories around spring training, around other camps other than Peoria. We'll get into all of that in the 11 a.m. hour. 12 o'clock Sports Fix will come up at the midpoint of the program, recapping all of the local weekend action, recapping everything that's happened in baseball and college sports. So stay tuned for that. We will play today's silly game. It's a 2 Anybody Knows week. The rotation has clicked forward. So today and Friday, Annie will be going head-to-head with one of our listeners on the 10-question survey of easy trivia, and we'll see who comes out on top. I presume, yes, we've got a new prize.
Yes, we do.
All right.
New prize. 2 tickets to Alanis Morissette
You ought to know.
at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card to get you there or back. So that's our new Vegas Grand Prize drawing for the month of March. We've moved from Scorpions and Motley Crue to Alanis Morissette.
It's a good March.
Yeah, seems like a little zig.
Change.
A
Yeah.
little zig there. Scorpions, Motley Crue, Alanis. We're going to do that. That'll be at 12:40 or thereabouts. Coming up at 1 o'clock, Tony Sanchez will join us from San Diego Punto Football. He was there from like morning to noon to night. He was there Saturday for SDFC's season opener. We'll get his thoughts on what's going on. We will wrap up the show, of course, with Ask Us Anything, your chance to call in, your chance to sound off a little bit, ask us questions, and we'll do that to wrap up the program. And in the next couple of segments, we'll get into San Diego FC and everything that's happened Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium, what happened at the end of the game, the reason why the talking points going forward aren't happy like they should be. We will get into every single one of those things. Girls' Night Out looked like fun, though.
Yeah, it was a good time. I did catch most of the SDFC game, but no, good. We had a few friends that were from out of town, in town, and had a good time. So it was good to catch up with everyone. And yeah, just overall good weekend. You?
Well, yeah, everything is good. Everything is good.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to get the house tented for termites. I heard Ben talking about this.
Termites must be going around.
Apparently. Are they contagious through this desk?
Everybody's got termites.
I don't think so. That's exactly right.
Everybody has termites in their house. It's just a matter of how many you have.
Mm-hmm. What that young man said is correct based on the 3 inspectors that we have had come by, because we needed a third to break the tie.
Yeah.
And the tie was broken. And I still think we could have gone either way, but we're gonna do it during the time when Mitzi is off work, which is a few weeks from now for spring break. And we're gonna have to pack everything up and 2 days, whatever. I don't know. They may go to Long Beach. They were talking about they'll go to Long. I'm like, well, what the hell am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Am I gonna do the show from Long Beach? I don't think so. So we'll figure that out.
Okay.
But yeah,
But you're going to get them all out of the house. So, I mean, all the termites out of the house.
Termites will be gone. Well, we will be gone.
Yes. I
Yeah.
guess
The
that's
food
so-
will be
Everything's getting
gone.
out of the
Everything's
house.
gone. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything disappears. They're going to be working on. It's just like
Maybe you and Ben should do it at the same time, and then the two of you can get like a
Compare.
Get
little.
a deal?
No, you can get like a roommate situation.
no thanks.
Wow.
Shut that down
Sorry,
quick.
Ben.
Shut that down
I've seen enough of the Ben and Woods videos.
I mean, Ben's like working 95. You are too. Like you guys are working so much that different hours. I feel like you wouldn't even really see each other all that much.
Did you hear those guys this morning? Ben drove all the way from San Diego to Peoria. No music.
Yeah.
No podcasts.
What?
I could never.
No nothing.
No, in silence, he drove.
No video playing on your phone. Complete silence. 6 hours. I'm sorry, Annie. This is proven psychopathic
Yeah,
behavior.
it's not.
I'm not going to stay in a room with this human being. I am afraid for my life.
Yeah, that is something I have to say. All the years that I've gone to spring training, I've never driven there in silence, there or back, the whole way. So that is something. But you know what? Hey, props to him. We are a very distracted society, and he spent the time in his own meditation thoughts. Enjoying the scenery.
So it's just him driving by himself?
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
couldn't do that.
maybe Ben's the right one.
If there's people in the car, I don't mind that. You can talk and stuff like that. Like,
6
just
hours
by yourself.
in his mind, just over and over. It just says, all work and no play makes Ben a dull boy.
Oh, man.
All work
No,
and
yeah,
no
let's not
play
do
makes
that.
Ben a dull boy. All work and no play makes Ben a dull boy. Just for 6 hours.
I think not putting on any music or a podcast or anything like that's discipline. That's like monk-like discipline.
It is. And yet, he's not a monk.
Yeah, that we know of.
I think we're pretty clear on the non-monk. He is not.
Maybe he's practicing his like Buddha, tendencies,
Maybe.
quietness, stillness.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and say no on that one. I'm gonna say that's spooky. That's concerning. Red
It's
flag.
different for sure.
Red flag.
I would talk about a guy that never sleeps, though. So
Yes.
I could see why he could be in that kind of situation.
And that is always listening to something. I do think sometimes it's like you're always hearing something, and so maybe a little bit of silence is nice, but that's a long time of silence. Like you'd think you would have caved in one of those hours.
6 hours of just going hot beef in his head, hot beef over and over again. Just Ben, damn, wow, okay, all right. Couldn't be me. I'm just afraid it couldn't be me. All right, let's come back. Take our first time out. It's great to be here with you. I already see the sky is clearing because, Braden, you came inside.
That's right. Apparently, the only times it rained today is when I had to leave my house.
Yeah.
As soon as I left for workout this morning, torrential downpour when I got to the gym. From like the 5 minutes I had to walk. Not even 5. It was like 30. It's 10 seconds from the parking lot to the gym.
It was
and
when
then
you ran it.
when I got inside, it stopped raining outside. It was like maybe like a mist. And then workout ends and it's downpour again. And I get home, sun shining at Scripps Ranch. Oh, look at that. And then I drive down here. As soon as I get out of the car,
Pouring.
rain.
Wild.
The 20% of rain today has just happened when I have left the
Isn't
buildings.
it ironic?
Yes.
Don't you think? Let's take a time out. We're going to come back and
Clear skies.
begin the sojourn through Saturday night and SDFC. Annie and Elsten underway on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 10:18 on the fan. Great to be here with you. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Got to admit, I'm a little bit of a mess today. Want to say thanks for a second time in not so many days to be for Fox 5 Morning News. They asked me to come on this morning and basically explain what happened Saturday night.
Oh, okay. Cool.
So always great. Really appreciate it. Great folks over there, the Fox 5 Morning News crew. Thank you for having me on. I guess I did too good a job on Thursday. They wanted me back on Monday. The funny thing was their producer wrote me over the weekend and they were like, hey, great job on the Thursday hit. We'd love to have you on Monday if SDFC wins. Mm-hmm. But if they lose, we don't need you.
Mm.
So I wrote back.
What happens if
what happens if they draw?
What?
And she's like, "Do you mean a tie?" Like,
yeah,
which like could totally happen,
right?
She's like, no, a draw, okay, win or draw. Well, we support you, win or draw, which is a funny saying too. I'm behind you, win or draw. Absolutely. So they had me on this morning. It was great. And then came home, got home and it was kind of in this weird, awkward time. I'm like, am I going to eat? Am I going to work on the show? I'm like, look, okay, got to work on the show. Worked on the show. So I'm just going to work on the show. And then I'll probably pick something up on the way to work. No problem. Monday, pick something up on the way to work. So did that, did the thing, did the stuff, got out of the house a little bit early, put in the order to Mickey D's little phone thing. Said, okay, I'll swing through. Walked out, closed the door, went, I forgot my water. Like I've always got a water jug here.
Yeah.
Forgot it. Forgot it. Whoops. Uh-oh. Too late.
You're the Monday I had last week.
Right? Because I could have gone back in and got it. Now the dog would have been mad, but I could have gone back in and got it.
God forbid you upset your dog.
Yeah, well, he's already been crated. He's going to be like, hey,
oh, man. Who runs the house over there?
Yeah. Oh, Sam
It's
does.
Sammy the dog.
Give me a break. It's Sam every time.
Craig afraid to go in his own house.
I mean, I just didn't want to mess. But
let me not upset my dog.
More importantly, I wouldn't have had enough time to go through McDonald's if I went back in and got. So I'm like, okay, whoops,
make your choices.
Whoops, no water, but at least I'll have my meal. Drive over there by Fletcher Parkway, line around the damn Mickey D's.
Oh no!
A little chilly outside. People want a sausage McMuffin.
And I looked at it, and Braden remembers the last time I tried to do that. It took too long in the line, and I got here like a minute before the show, and I was in a panic. I literally got to the drive-thru, looked at the line, turned around.
Oh no!
Did not pick up the order I ordered, and came here.
Can you not run in and grab it?
No.
Oh.
No. It was set up for the drive-thru.
Oh.
Yeah. Lying around the block. So sorry to whoever made my McMuffin this morning. I hope you enjoyed it as a snack.
Yeah, some dude in line got a free one.
Yes.
But now I have no breakfast today. I've got this cup of coffee. And we'll see how the rest of the day goes.
Okay.
We'll see how the rest of the day goes. But
it sounded like my Monday last week.
I remember.
Flat tire start the day.
You were sick. Discombobulated.
Mondays are tough.
It's something else go wrong. I forget what it was. Oh, my phone didn't charge the night before.
Yeah.
Although I put it on Instagram that I had flat tire. People are like, what's wrong with what's on your tire? I'm like, you can't see that it's completely deflated? It's deflated. And they're like, oh, I guess it is. Yeah. Like that does kind of suck. Oh, thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Go Aztecs understands. Once there's peace in the dog's life, you don't want to mess with it. Anyway,
that takes precedent over breakfast and water.
Today it does. Today I'm just an ascetic. It's coffee, and then we'll see. We'll see at 12 o'clock. Am I a complete mess? Do I need to DoorDash something?
Yeah, I might.
You know what? You made somebody's Monday with the free.
Yeah, hopefully somebody got it.
Although they make so many of those that
they better not have thrown it out. I hope they
probably just
helped somebody out.
Yeah,
it's
like,
here you go. Here you go, my guy. Enjoy.
My dad and his buddies used to do that back in the day. They used to have, to an extent, before online ordering, they had one of their friends used to work at Round Table. It was way back in the day. They don't work there anymore, obviously.
World's most honest pizza.
Well, they did some non-honest things with the pizza now. So they used to have.
That's why they had to change the motto.
They used to have like a poker night, and one time their friend Mitch, who worked at Round Table, said, "Hey, like I'll be over. Like he's getting off his shift. They're closing. Somebody didn't pick up their pizzas. I'll just bring them over." And they're like, okay, great. So they had like 3 pizzas, and he came over, and they did it another time. And then they started to get wise. And they're like, all of a sudden, the pizzas that he would bring just so happened to be the favorite 3 pizzas that the boys would like all the time. So they would call in right before they closed, order 3 or 4 pizzas, not pick them up. And then Mitch would be like, hey, nobody picked these up. You mind if I just take? Yeah, go ahead. Just take them. Free pizza hack.
Oh, wow.
Jeez,
That is playing some serious chess with Round Table's Pizza.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's shenanigans.
That's the stuff you do when
That's
you're
straight up call shenanigans.
That's what you do when you're young and you're poor and got to make some got to eat somehow. It was back in the 80s though, so a lot of things have been happened.
That's right.
I got fired for throwing a huge party at my work. Oh no, Doom.
I was a supervisor at Round Table. I got fired for throwing a huge party at my work. You think? Was that?
But it's a good story though, Doom.
Was that a surprise? What it all shook out? Were you shocked?
When I worked at Starbucks, some places would let you bring the expired food home, and some places wouldn't. Like the place in Tucson wanted to charge you for it, and I was like, I'm about to throw it in the dumpster. What do you mean I can't bring it home? Like it wasn't expired, but it was expired to Starbucks standards.
Yeah.
And we would just throw all this food away.
It's horrible.
And I was a poor college kid. I was like, what do you mean I can't bring it? Like, no, we're gonna have to charge you for it. I'm like, it's going in the trash.
No.
You're telling me if I picked it out of the trash after it'd be cool, but I can't grab it now? And they're like, no,
evil.
Yeah,
right
but my 2 stores here in California were like, yeah, take whatever you want, and then we'll throw the rest away. And then they started to donate it to places, which I thought was great.
Food pantries.
Yeah.
Might as well donate it instead of throw away all the pastries away. But then once they realized in Tucson that it was kind of ridiculous, the logic, I would come home with like bags full of pastries for like the dorm, and they'd be like, oh, this is cool. Got to try a lot of stuff at Starbucks that way.
First job, soup plantation. That was the case on the old muffin trays. Bring home. And what were you going to do with the muffins? Throw them away?
If you're throwing them away,
in a box?
If you're throwing them away anyway, who cares?
Throw them in a box. Bring them home. Help somebody out.
Exactly.
Okay. I want to get into everything that happened on Saturday, and we've kind of taken a good portion of this segment and chewed it already. So let me just start here. For thousands of people on Saturday night, this was the culmination of years, decades of work, not just anticipation, not just hope, not just dreams. Oh, dream becomes reality. There was a lot of work that went in between, from initial teases of MLS decades ago to Soccer City versus San Diego State and that whole thing. And within that was the beginning, the very beginning of the seeds of what you saw Saturday night in the North End at Snapdragon Stadium, the supporters union, multiple thousands strong. It began with people campaigning for Soccer City, having their heart broken, turning to the club created by Andrew Vassiliadis, San Diego Loyal, going there, supporting USL Championship, creating the supporters groups, creating the infrastructure of support, growing, battling, going through all of these pains, seeing the Loyal disappear, but at the same time, the announcement that MLS was coming. And for 2 years, there was this kind of push and pull. Which direction is everyone going? Everyone got in line, and it all happened Saturday. And I sent you guys a clip from down in the supporters area tailgate, which basically filled Purple Lot. And I just want to be clear, that was not the only tailgate that was going on. There were dozens of tailgates going on, but you saw the row, flags, drums, supporters, tacos, beers, everything. And to see that together, to see all of this love, because this is one thing I've been trying to pass along. Soccer, yes, there's a billionaire that owns the club. There's Saudi billionaires that own EPL clubs. There's huge money, just like there's huge money in all major league sports. But soccer is a grassroots sport. Soccer, as much as it is the big stars and the big money, It's the community. It's the people who work to create what is the culture of a club. And to see that Saturday night, to see it come to fruition, and to see it followed by tens of thousands more of the curious, the casual, the newly integrated. I got to tell you, riding the trolley there, Annie. Everyone in SDFC gear, hats, jackets, shirts, jerseys, like just like when I go to a Padres game on the trolley. And you see that everyone that's going is in their Padre pinstripe brown and gold, and you love that. And you have that feeling of, yes, we found colors that mean who we are. That community is here now. It's got something new to wrap its arms around and embrace. And it's truly special for this city, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's cool. I like the support. I said it yesterday on the show, on my show, that it's the fact that San Diego's supporting another major sports team, regardless of what the sport is great news for us in the future. I mean, it just continues to show that we can support major franchises. And this isn't San Diego of the 1970s and 80s, which a lot of people think we still are. We're not a small Navy town anymore, and haven't been a small Navy town for decades. And it's great that we finally get to show that we're not a small Navy town. As I've heard many arguments, we're like, well, the NBA was here twice and it failed, and this and that. Those are different times than we have now. We got a lot of people here from a lot of different walks of life that like a lot of different sports, that come from other areas of the country, that want to be able to support a lot of local sports teams here, and especially the major ones. And if you give us major league sports, San Diego's going to support, and they did that on the first game. Now, that being said, first game's always a big deal, so hopefully they can keep this up. And I said this yesterday, if they can continue this into the season when they're competing with the Padres and summertime and summer vacations and all that, that's even better, because everybody always supports on opening night. We've seen that with a lot of new things here in town, which is a great start, but hopefully they can keep it up. And, hopefully San Diego FC can continue to play good soccer and continue to get points in the standings, so people do go out there and support.
There were so many cool things to see. I'll give you an example. In the supporters area, St. Louis fans coming through saying, hey, welcome to the league. It's so great to have you. It's so cool to be here. Like, just that feeling of now you're in it. Now you're a part of it. The fan fest outside for the non-supporters, still great. People standing in line for an hour to get a scarf. People, losing their minds, going crazy. The atmosphere inside was electric. And do I think they'll get 34,506 for their second match? No, why would they? Right? I mean, I think they're going to draw well. I do think that. I think that they will continue to draw well. The supporters are going to be there the entire time. That's for sure. And I think that's what now is becoming very associated with fandom. I'll repeat, they're two different things. There's what's going on in the north end, and there's what's going on in the rest of the stadium. We'll get a lot more into that in the next segment. But Manny showing up with his glowing blue, is it a soccer ball? Is it a shield? What is that thing you're holding? I had no idea what it was, but it was cool. It was a cool bauble. The fireworks, the pageantry, no singer for national anthem. Have the fans sing the national anthem. That was incredible. And there's going to be some casuals. There's going to be some folks who are dallying with the sport. They're going to look at 0-0 and go, why did I bother? Are these players good? Why was there no scoring? Are these players even good? What's going on here? And sure, some folks are going to peel off. It always happens. But I think we all understand a football game with two great defenses that nobody scores a touchdown and the game ends 12-9. That happened this year in the National Football League. I think we all understand a game where the two pitchers are locked in and the defense is lights out and it's 0-0 going to the 11th inning. And we're like, wow, holy cow, what a great game. Soccer is a sport, Annie, where if one team is good defensively and they are determined, doesn't matter if we score. Doesn't matter if we score. We're not going to let you score. That's our whole objective tonight. That was St. Louis City SC. I could show you the metrics that are coming out this morning. Here's just one example. Passes completed inside, that box area, the attacking area, the 18-yard box. It was 21-3 in favor of San Diego. 21-3. St. Louis wasn't even attacking.
Right. SDFC had the ball and was more aggressive and was taking the shots, but does it say something that they weren't able to get one in?
Your comparison you had, Craig, though, had scores. I mean, that's the thing. It's the difference. You didn't have any scoring. I don't understand. Here's my thought on soccer.
And I do want to circle back because I haven't had a chance to talk about the atmosphere or anything like that.
But like my thing for soccer, I don't know why the MLS hasn't Americanized soccer, and I think determining a game on shootouts is stupid. That's not a good way to determine a game, obviously, with the way you play.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they have games end in ties or at least do an overtime just for America. Because if you want to win over Americans, the 0-0 is not going to win over a lot of people.
I understand, but this is literally a 30-year journey for MLS. When MLS began, they did exactly what you talked about. They had Americanized rules. When a game was like this, they would not go to a 35-yard shootout. They'd have a series of players attacking, running in from 35 yards out, trying to score 1v1. Those rules changed because MLS grew up and it's a part of the global game now. And it's attracting players like Messi. It's attracting players like De Bruyne and Lozano. And when you take those guys off of their clubs in Bundesliga or the Danish Super League and you say, hey, we're going to come over to this league, but in this league, at the end of 90, we're going to do a circus thing. They're going to be like, what?
Then you give them a couple $100 million more, and then they'd be like, "Oh, okay, cool, sounds good."
I get that, but
it's I'm just telling you, Craig, it's a tough sell for a lot of people.
I get it,
and to each their own. But you're not going to excite me with a 0-0 draw.
But I mean, 1-0 is going to be that much better.
You saw somebody score. I mean, the whole point for sports is to score some type of points, and if you don't score any points, then yes, why did I spend $300 to go?
Right. Well, the other team's on the field too, as Manny likes to say, right? And there's nothing I can say to folks who are just like, look, they didn't score, therefore soccer bad. If that's the feeling, soccer's not for you. But there's going to come time. There are going to be games that you dominate, and SDFC dominated the game. They had the most chances by a mile. They were safe the whole game. They were never in danger of allowing a goal. There wasn't one time in the game that it was like, oh my God, oh, like it wasn't even close to that. It was all SDFC, and St. Louis packed the bus. They parked the bus in front of the net and they said, try and score on us. And also SDFC's most dynamic player got injured in the 28th minute. And he was out on a hamstring, and Chuki's going to be out for a while. I don't know exactly how long, but hamstrings don't heal overnight. Those are usually up to a 2-month injury. Hopefully a lot less than that. But I thought they were less dynamic as an attack when they didn't have Lozano creating so much pressure on the left side of the defense. And it made it harder on the other forwards. It made it harder on the rest of the attack. Nonetheless, with all of that, it was a remarkable night for the celebration of the sport. And for a few casuals who are turned off, that'll be fine, because there's some other folks we need to turn off too.
I don't like that gatekeeping. I don't like it. My dad grew up watching international soccer and said the same thing. He was like, this is, I saw the whole pomp and circumstance, the historic night, everybody waiting for something. And I didn't understand how it could end 0-0 and with no score from either team. And I don't think it's, maybe it's casuals, but shouldn't we be trying to like embrace people who aren't yet full on soccer and trying to get them into the community and understand maybe why this is important or why this is something that is unusual, but not necessarily needs to be a turnoff. And for some people it will be a turnoff. And I don't discredit them for that. I don't think maybe you are someone who there needs to be scoring for you to, like the sport or whatever. Maybe you don't like, maybe there's people out there that don't like baseball for that reason. If it's a defensive game or the pitcher's duel or, I just think that there's ways to allow for some growth here from the community. I agree with some people out there that it was a little bit like, okay, so 0-0, could something be done? Is there a different way to do this? And I appreciate what you're saying, that they've already looked at this and tried this and put some thought into it. Maybe this is the only way, I'm not changing any MLS rules, but I can understand for some San Diegans or some people new to the sport that they're like, wait a second, how does this work? What goes on here? And just to be about the atmosphere, and I know we'll get into the chance and everything later, but I did think it was great for San Diego. I thought it was awesome to see the people out there. The tailgating looked fantastic. I love that Manny, had his moment there. It just looked like something for San Diego to really come together on, at least for that night. I agree. Is it going to keep going? Is it going to keep being like this? I think SDFC has to earn that in the community, but I think that for that first night, like to have that crowd and that turnout and everybody out there cheering the way that they were, it was pretty awesome. I mean, it was a great crowd to see.
It really was. And I honestly just don't have any answer, Annie, to if you watch and you say, well, if they don't score a goal, I don't like the sport. Okay.
I don't think it's okay to be like, casuals, we don't want you anyways. Like maybe they've seen a little time. Like maybe they just don't understand it yet.
Every sport in the United States is constantly evolving to make it entertaining for fans. I mean, we've seen with all the rules for baseball. I mean, I'm more of a baseball traditionalist. And so like I didn't like a lot of the rules that they had implemented, but they did it for a lot of casual fans that don't watch the sport to try to get them to watch the sport. So for me, I don't know why they don't try to do any type of extra time or any type of shootout or something that just ends the game in a win or a loss and do the points like hockey, just to get Americans to be bought in some of the casuals, especially when you're trying to compete with a lot of different sports.
Well, and Tony in the chat makes a good, 0-0 makes sense in the course of a season. And then maybe that's it, right? Like people are going to have to see like over the course of a season, how this all works and check out some other games. And like, is this something that, is every game like this? I think that there's just kind of more of a learning curve there. But I thought for SDFC, like to not allow a goal in their first two games at all says a lot about them, especially for a new team that has been put together and just started practicing 6 weeks ago. Was the crowd looking like it wanted to erupt for a goal? Absolutely. It would have been awesome. But on their side, like they're obviously doing what they need to do as well.
Yeah. As Mikey Vardas said multiple times after the match, the head coach of SDFC, the hardest thing to do in football is score goals.
I bet.
It is the absolute hardest thing to do. And you can try your damnedest for a game and not have it come through. And that be due entirely to what the other team is doing.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, Ingvartsen had a header chance. It went over the crossbar. There was Godoy had a chance. He was on the wrong foot. He wasn't on his strong foot. He missed the net with it.
And like you said, Lozano left the game. But intrinsically, it's just one of those difficult things. Soccer already knowing the history of this sport in this country, soccer tried for decades to make itself something different to try and appeal to the American casual fan that is being discussed in the course of this. And it never, ever worked. It never worked. Yeah.
The NASL folded. Okay. They tried every goofy thing you could imagine in the NASL. It never worked. MLS did all the goofy things. They struggled and they struggled. You know what changed it? When they got David Beckham, the most famous player from England, handsome, charming, prime of his career, Manchester United superstar. Yes, married to Spice Girl.
One of the Spice Girls.
And they leaned in to soccer being soccer and not being like, well, it's soccer, but it's for you. And by the way, for everyone who does feel that way, I invite you to go to a Sockers match, San Diego Sockers match, where there is no offsides, where there's an average of 11.5 goals scored per match, and where you will get there's no draws, you will get it all.
And I think on that point, like I get what, there's something for everyone. And maybe you will watch more games and decide this isn't for me and I'm going to go over here. And like you said, watch this or watch that. And but maybe there'll be some people too that are like, okay, I didn't really get it the first game, but over the course of the season, like Tony said, I kind of understand, why they do it this way and following along with the storyline of the season. So hopefully there's probably going to be a little bit of both.
Well, let's take a time out. We're overdue. And when we'll come back, we'll at least briefly touch on, and we'll probably get into it more later in the show as well with Tony, what happened at the end of the match. We'll do that next. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect businesses with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Well, it was a beautiful night, as mentioned on Saturday. And while the result, again, made, chase a couple casual onlookers, away, maybe the next result will draw them back. On the pitch, everything's gone great for San Diego FC. 2 matches, no goals conceded, 4 points. Things are going really, really well.
Good to see.
Off the field, it was a banner night for San Diego FC.
Really nice production by SDFC, I thought.
I agree. I thought the production was good.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, like everything, we can, there were tiny things in the game presentation that I think they can iron out. Irrelevant for me to go into those details here. There was definitely some ingress issues at Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah.
And in particular, I had the single worst experience I've ever had getting into a sports game.
I thought you took the trolley.
Night. Oh, I took the trolley. I mean, getting into the stadium.
Oh, that's
getting
a
into
bummer.
the stadium
Yeah.
where they actually encouraged the entire supporters group to march as one to a total of 4 single entry points, and then tried to push 2,500 people through 4 points, all in no lines, so it was just it was awful.
Yeah, that's rough.
But hopefully that'll get fixed.
Yeah, hopefully some of
that'll
that
get
gets
fixed.
ironed out.
Hopefully
right.
that'll get fixed up. And they've obviously spent a year and a half marketing, not just here, but south of the border. And they had 34,506. Interesting number in that they broke the previous record by like 60. So, I know
a lot about the Wave and what they've been able to do.
I know how those numbers get sizzled.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, incredible and worthy. And down in the supporters section, everything was absolutely stellar. And then around the 30-minute mark of the first half, from a high corner, not in the supporters group, but a high corner of the same area, there was a goal kick was being lined up for St. Louis City SC's goalkeeper. And all of a sudden I heard, hey, and I knew it was coming. And I turned around and looked, and it was a few college kids. It is what it looked like. Young kids away, again, not supporters, but they were doing the homophobic P chant. And I heard it one time in the first half and immediately was like, what the heck? That didn't come from us, right? Because trust me when I tell you, the Independent Supporters Union, like, you've literally signed on to things about this. And then in the second half, late, from the south end of the stadium, 3 times, each time louder. And to be perfectly honest, I think the club got caught flat-footed. I don't think they expected it. They went into the warning protocol way too late. By that time, the horse was out of the barn, and Mikey Vadas and Tyler Heaps had to start their press conferences, Annie, by the denunciation of this awful tradition that began in the 2000s in Mexico, really came to light in the 2010 and 2014 World Cups, and is tried very hard from FIFA and everywhere down to be eradicated, has led the Mexican national team to have to play in empty stadiums. And it marred Saturday night, and it just can't happen again.
Yeah, I mean, clearly you know more about this than I do, but I tried to, look at people's social media responses and hear from people who were there, who have been around soccer for a long time. And I see people say, this isn't a big deal. This is, you guys are soft, whatever. If the stadium is asking for it to stop, and then the GM and the sporting director and the head coach start their press conferences asking for it to stop, then it should be stopped. I mean, it should be. It sounds to me like it's something that is discriminatory at the very least. I know it depends, and I've seen the things that say it depends on like where you live and where you're from and all that. But these are the the entities that are saying it shouldn't be happening, it should stop. And to be quite honest, I mean, this is kind of something that with soccer, as I've learned more about soccer, and we talked about this last year, I am troubled by the racism that goes on internationally inside the sport by fans and by media.
Yes.
The violence that has gotten higher and higher inside the sport by fans and by people who allow it to happen and look the other way. There's a lot of, if you start Googling around, it's not a pretty sight. It's pretty ugly. So for them to want to crack down on it, I completely understand. And I think at some point, if it continues, you've got to take more drastic measures.
No, if
you're
it
going to make
continues, the team, what should have happened on Saturday night on the third utterance was the teams were supposed to walk off the field. That's it's supposed to happen the second time. The second time the teams are supposed to walk off the field. The third time the game is forfeited.
If I was at a baseball game and I heard chants from people, you're always going to get people yelling something. You're always going to get people saying something, and maybe security finds them and escorted them out. But if I heard chants from people that were derogatory or discriminatory, as like even a guy like Tommy Pham has talked about hearing from people, and players talk about hearing it in the outfield all the time, racist comments, this or that. When it's chants of people, that should never be okay. I mean, it just shouldn't.
It's not okay. It's completely not okay. And this is, by the way, this has been done and dusted, gang. This has already been litigated. All the, oh, no, it's this, it's that. Oh, and listen, I understand part of the Mexican culture that has come up over the last 15 years. No, we like this. This is the way we're trolling the goalkeeper. No, it doesn't mean what you think it means. No, it does. It does. And unfortunately, this is where we are right now. It has to stop. And if you think it's okay, as Mikey Vadas himself said, the head coach of SDFC, if this is important to you, don't go to the next match. Don't go to any more matches.
And that's not to say that like other sports are perfect. No, I see these comments in the chat. You're absolutely right. NASCAR, football, baseball, they all have had their troubling spots, but you can go on every sport, but it's just, and now at this point in this day and age, there should be some kind of growth or change. And if this is something that is not at all a problem, I guess it sounds like in Mexico, I don't know how soccer deals with it or how they figure it out, but you just open the door, in my opinion. You open the door for this sport, especially that has dealt with so much racism and so much discrimination and homophobia and all of that. You open the door for that, for more in the future. Like, where do you draw the line?
Well, this has been done and dusted. So for the 2 or 3 folks who are pretending to be free speech warriors in the chat, you are so far off and misguided. And I have absolutely no sympathy for your position, none whatsoever. But this has already been done and dusted. SDFC is going to have to take a far more proactive stance. They're going to have pregame videos. They're going to have pregame protocols and drills. I have done this myself as the PA announcer for Mexican national team games, and it's going to be drummed out. The people who do it are going to be banned from future games, and it's going to be drummed out, or the team is going to forfeit a result somewhere along the line, and then everyone will understand. But the idea that it's okay is ridiculous. And beyond, it beggars belief, to be honest with you. We're overdue. The machine didn't fire. Let's, the little machine didn't fire. So let's take a break. And when we come back, Sammy Levitt standing by. We're twisting it right on over. SDFC time will be revisited at 1 p.m. However, up next, Padres baseball. Sam Levitt live from Peoria. Let's take a timeout. We come back and we keep it rolling. Your midday hang. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97 through the Fan. 11 a.m. on the Fan. Welcome back. Hour number 2 of Annie and Elsten. It's your Padres Deep Dive Hour. We do it every day from preseason to the end of the season. And baseball coverage on 97.3 The Fan is presented by T-Mobile. Head to T-Mobile.com. Get a great deal on an iPhone 16 Pro. Annie Halpern, Craig Elsten, and here comes Sammy Levitt joining us on the phone from Peoria. Day off for the San Diego Padres. Sam Levitt looking to his left, looking to his right, like the John Travolta gif. Where am I supposed to go? What am I supposed to do? Where's my content? Who do I interview? Well, you come on with us, Sammy. That's what you do, brother. How are you?
Doing well. Nice off day, a little bit chillier, of course, so not quite pool weather. So that took some pool time out of the equation for the off day, but nonetheless, nice day here in the Phoenix area.
Hey, Sammy, as we talk about the competition that continues to be ongoing for that 5th starter spot, Randy Vasquez, another tough start yesterday. How are you seeing that kind of shape up right now?
Yeah, well, I think if we're playing a game of elimination, I don't think Randy has helped himself. I think it's been 2 pretty tough starts. I think it's been, 2 outings that showed the same things that we saw during last season in the major leagues, which is a lot of hits, a lot of base runners, a lot of base traffic, and it's just a dangerous way to live. And I think he's acknowledged that. Mike Schultz acknowledged that, and yesterday's start was not a great one. Randy had the ability last year of giving up a lot of hits, dealing with a lot of base trap.
Uh-oh.
What happened to Sammy?
Sammy got hopefully not kidnapped.
He's still connected.
Oh.
Sam? All right. I'm going to come back.
He's like, it's my day off.
Sammy
I'd like
underwater.
to just have a day off.
Sammy just went underwater.
Give me a second.
It's Monday.
You're not the only one having problems on a Monday, Craig.
Yeah, no kidding, man. No kidding.
I don't think Sammy got his McMuffin.
Sammy was left at the drive-thru as well.
I didn't get my McMuffin. I'll tell you that right now. I'm starting to feel it. Hour number 2. Missing them calories.
Well,
we're going to get Sammy back here momentarily.
Sam? Oh, no.
No, Sam just, I'm telling you, it's a day off. Let's just let the man live. Just let him be in peace.
Well, we may have no choice in the matter, Eddie. We may have no choice but to give him the day off. His phone may have chosen for us.
Randy Vasquez, another tough start yesterday. Not entirely his fault. There were some errors and some just tough things that happened behind him, but still just too much traffic for Randy Vasquez, putting himself in some tough positions.
Well, I agree with that. I mean, honestly, I think the battle's all but over.
I know, I understand why you think that, and it might end up that way, but I think that there's still some time left, and I do think he's got to work his way back in. And right now, Kolek and Waldron just seem to be ahead of him, so they'd have to take a step back, which you don't want either. But I would agree. I mean, I guess I would agree. But these things sometimes kind of work themselves out too. Like it's like
Sammy's back.
Oh,
all right. Well, Sammy.
Hey. Hi, Sammy. Welcome.
Hey,
back.
What happened? What's the last thing you heard?
Basically, like you said, one line starting about Randy Vasquez, and then you went underwater. It got just gobbled up.
Really? Okay. I'm sorry about that. Hopefully the signal stays okay. Do I sound okay right now?
Yeah, right now, good.
Okay, I'm going to stick in this spot. I'm sorry. I'm outside a coffee shop here in Phoenix, and maybe the service isn't great, so I'm going to stay in this spot. Yeah, Randy Vasquez. Not a great outing yesterday. It's been 2 not so great outings in a row now for Randy in the Cactus League. And I think there's an understanding both for him and for Mike Schultz in the organization that, look, when he does what he's done a lot, which is allow a lot of hits and deal with a ton of base traffic, it is a dangerous way to live, and it's a dangerous way to pitch. And unfortunately, we've seen a lot of what we saw last year from him early on in spring, which is just dealing with a ton of base runners and giving up hits. So in the context of the competition for the 5th starter spot, look, you obviously have Kolek, you have Waldron, you have Hart, you have Brito. We can talk a little bit more about them, but I will say if we're just playing a game of elimination, it doesn't feel certainly like Randy's done himself any favors with the way this spring has started. Never say never, right? He is a bit of a more of a known commodity than say a Hart or a Kolek, in a starting role. But I think there's an understanding for Randy and for the organization that there are things that need to improve, and the way he's gone about it as far as the base traffic, it's just a very dangerous way to live. And I do think at this moment, it certainly feels like that's hurt his chances, at least this early in spring.
Indeed. But while Randy Vasquez is struggling, Stephen Kolek comes along and Matt Waldron hums right along. Another solid outing for Matty over the course of the last 3 days, Sam. And I feel like, Andy and I were just chatting about this while we were getting you reconnected. I understand we've got a month left to go. We still haven't seen Kyle Hart in a Cactus League game. I'm eminently curious as to what we have in the left-hander, but I unless Matt Waldron falls off a cliff, I don't understand why the Padres wouldn't use him as their number 5 starter.
Yeah, there's certainly an argument for it. Look, I think Stephen Kolek, Craig, has been impressive so far. I mean, yesterday he was really good. I mean, he definitely offers something a little bit different than Waldron as far as, somebody who has, sort of a pretty wide arsenal at this point, kind of like a true 5-pitch mix that he's using already. I thought it was interesting yesterday, his first start, Kolek, was very sinker heavy. And then yesterday it was more 4-seam and slider. So it was a good sampling of the different ways he can go about a lineup on any given day. It does feel to me like Kolek is seriously in the mix. But to your point, Matt Waldron went on the road a few days ago and was really good too. And there's certainly a bit of a known commodity there in Waldron based on what he did last year. And certainly if he's going to use the knuckleball 60-70% of the time, I think a lot of good unknown of what he actually can be if he really, really heavily relies on that knuckleball. And then Kyle Hart, you mentioned him. We got to see what he looks like in Cactus League games and get a real look at him. He pitched in a sim game yesterday for a couple of innings, and it's good to see him pitch in a sim game. He generated swing and miss, but until we see the velo, until we see what it actually looks like on a field, I think it's a little hard to really come up with a conclusion about Hart at this point, but he certainly seems in the mix. But I understand it, Craig. I think there's definitely an argument to be made for Matt Waldron. But I do think the way Kolek is pitched, and we'll see how Hart does when he does get in the Cactus League games, that could give Waldron a run for his money. I think that's a real possibility.
Sammy, who's been looking good over there in left field? Because it looks like Tirso Ornelas is also making a case for himself. I don't know if it's more than the other guys, but he's certainly being noticed.
Well, I think a couple of guys are making it pretty difficult right now. And again, it's early. Do I sound okay?
Yeah,
Phil?
it was
Am I okay?
my Siri Siri just responded to that.
An Australian man's
reason.
voice just appeared in the room.
Oh,
not you at all.
Okay.
Sam, don't
I think you need to give your
Sorry.
Australian accent now, Sam.
Sorry.
My Siri had something to say.
Look, I think the good news, and this is always good news, these are good problems to have,
Right.
is that you have a couple of guys that are making it difficult. I mean, Tirso's been great. There's no other way around it. He's hitting the ball extremely hard. He's doing it early in games. He's doing it against the lesser competition later in the games, but that's okay. You got to take advantage of your opportunities. And, when you talk to Mike Schultz about it, it seems like Tirso is putting himself in a really, really good spot. And look, we've got a long way to go. It's spring training, but I think early on he has been one of the breakout guys. No doubt. You have Eggy Rosario, who obviously has done a lot of really good things. And if you mix in his ability to play left field with also his versatility of being able to obviously also play infield, that's a benefit to him. So Tirso and Eggy have really, really done some nice things. And I think Tirso, the way he started, you could not have asked for a better start for him. Mike Schultz certainly, what he said publicly aligns with that. And we'll see how it shakes out over the course of the spring. I mean, if Tirso continues to do what he's doing, I think we're going to start to have a conversation of like, is this guy going to be your starting left fielder? I don't know what exactly that means for Jason Hayward, how you use Connor Joe, how you would handle it with Tirso, because hey, you don't want a situation where you have a guy making his debut, and then if he struggles for a week, you got to send him down. Do you want Tirso on the bench in a role he's really never been in? A la Graham Pauley last year. I think that's like a little bit of a good comparison.
Yeah.
Again, these are questions I think we answer in a couple of weeks if it keeps on trending this way. But there's no doubt early on, like Tirso's been awesome, and he's certainly doing a lot with his opportunity so far.
All right. Now, I'm going to build off this, Sammy, by revisiting what we chatted about on Friday, because I don't think our wires were aligned at the time, but now I think we're going to get them going in the same direction. Because when I asked you about Tirso and Gavin Sheets, you're like, I put those guys in two different buckets. They feel like, completely different position battles. But now follow me along with this.
Yeah.
Jason Hayward's going to win the opening day left fielder job because he's been in the big leagues for 16 years.
Yeah.
And he's a defensive asset for San Diego in a way that Tirso Ornelas is not, never will be. Ornelas, good player, not a defensive player. Hayward is a defensive player. Jason Hayward's going to start on opening day unless the Braves throw a lefty. If they throw Chris Sale, Connor Joe will start on opening day. But left-handed DH. Left-handed DH. This spot is unoccupied for the San Diego Padres. There's nobody on this team that is called the DH, and Tirso Ornelas could be the DH, and he could go against righties. Joe could go against lefties. Eggy slides into the outfield for a day or so. I feel like Ornelas could make this lineup as designated hitter.
Yeah, and I think it's funny when we got off the segment on Friday. I kind of reversed in what I said to you about putting them in two different buckets, because I don't think I've seen Gavin Sheets mostly at first base this spring. He obviously has played a little bit of outfield in the Cactus League, but then I was actually going on his baseball reference page and I was like, you know what? He's played a lot of outfield, more so than I was thinking kind of since the last time I looked at it. Now, you make a really, really interesting point about the DH spot. Look, if Tirso continues to hit the way he's hitting, maybe he does take on kind of that role, and obviously somebody who can go play the outfield a little bit too. Again, I think, what's going to get interesting if he continues to turn heads, and I tend to agree with you on the Hayward part that you brought him here for a reason, and he's a veteran, and I think it may be, their plan to see what they got in him from the start of the year, and you go from there like they've done with other, veteran types in the past. But, I think with Tirso, that will become an interesting conversation about DHing, about playing every day, about playing the field. Do the Padres want him to DH on some days and not play some days and maybe play the outfield from time to time? Or do they want him to be down at AAA until they need him, playing every day down in El Paso, and then when the time is right, and it probably will be right at some point this year, bring him up? Or, does that kind of spot, at least at the start of the year, go to somebody like Gavin Sheets, where I think, you can kind of put them in the same bucket? So, Craig, I think it's an interesting question, and I agree with you more so than I did Friday after thinking about it, that maybe that spot is more one of a competition between guys like Sheets and Ornelas than what we originally talked about. I do agree.
Sam, a little injury update from you, if you will give that to us. It sounds like Brian Hoeing probably not going to start the season with the team, and Manny, hopefully just precautionary on that back, right?
Yeah, Manny wouldn't worry about it. They're not worried about it. I would assume if all is well, he will play tomorrow. And then Brian Hoeing, I talked to him early in the week. He played catch. He hasn't done anything beyond that. I think right now it's just kind of like the time clock. Like you've got, now 3 to 4 weeks. He's not pitched off a mound this spring training. There's got to be a natural build-up period, and I have not been given a date yet as to when he's going to get off a mound. He has played catch, but he hasn't thrown off a mound. So you just start putting 2 and 2 together, and I don't think they want to rush him in any way. And just the fact that he's behind everybody else, it would start to appear that they're probably going to be without him to begin the year, which is not, a huge deal because you've got some names that can fill that spot. But obviously I think from a long man standpoint, it's going to be nice to have Hoeing back. So I think the hope is that, it's something he can fully reset from, even if it takes a little bit longer beyond opening day to get back, and then you have him for the rest of the year. But he's not thrown off a mound yet, which naturally puts him, like, kind of at this point, well behind everybody else.
And I hear that Manny Machado's back. The instant he got off the PJ back from SDFC, started feeling better. Just much better.
I will say, I did hear Ben and Woods talk about it this morning about like the fan conspiracies. He was originally in the lineup Friday,
and he was there on Saturday. He didn't fly back
he was
to
there
Saturday
Friday,
after
and he was
practice.
there, and he was there Saturday morning. Okay, he was there Friday. He was originally in the lineup. It was a scratch, and he was there Saturday morning. And guess what? He was there bright and early on Sunday as well. So,
but I'm going to take it as a good sign, Sammy, that he lifted the ball over his head when he walked out on the SDFC pitch.
Yeah.
The conspiracy theorists can go to bed.
I agree.
Yeah, he was in the lineup Friday. He was there Saturday morning. He was there Sunday. It was a quick jet trip to get to San Diego and back, which I understood. He wants to be a part of it. I got it.
And he's not flying Southwest on gate C7 like the rest of us. Like he's able to jump on the jet and go back real quick, come back, and he didn't really miss anything except for he didn't really miss anything. Gosh, he was there.
Yeah,
he was back on Sunday morning.
It's not like he's in Mission Valley traffic hoping he's going to get to the airport on time.
Yeah,
okay?
exactly.
Yeah.
All right, now I am just assuming, Sam, that you, based on all everything I've learned over the last week, because you've got a day off, you have now gone double deep. You have done the extra research. You have found the Arizona Valley of the Sun area's best pickleball facility. You have found the place where they line up the paddles properly, and you are going to devote your afternoon to your passion.
You know what? I actually have, and I don't have a great pickleball plan for today. It's actually surprising. I don't have a great plan. I was toying with a lot of ideas for today. I was actually thinking about going skiing up by Flagstaff, like getting a little ski day in. I brought my stuff with me to spring training, my boots and everything. But it actually is snowing a lot up there today, which is good for skiing. But I didn't feel like doing the whole drive through a snowstorm thing. It just seemed like a lot, and I was like, I almost wish it wasn't snowing because I just don't feel like it today. So I didn't end up going. But I don't know. We'll see if I get pickleball. I did go to the Suns game last night, so that was fun.
Good for you.
Had a good time there. Yeah, that was good. And yeah, just pretty quiet off day. Nothing too crazy. Maybe a little pickleball.
Didn't Minnesota win last night?
Yes, they did. Anthony Edwards had 40-something points.
Damn.
The Suns are a mess.
Yeah,
Total mess. In fact, I
mess.
was listening to their post game show on the way home, and they take calls, so good for them. I like that. And man, Sun fans just ripping into this team. I mean, they are really, really not happy with this team and everything. So it was a good listen on the way home.
Oh, you had that little wink. You had that knowing smile listening to that dude in the torture chamber going, that's me in June when Yuki blows a save.
How much was that ticket, Sammy? Like, was it pretty cheap?
Yeah, I didn't get the fanciest ticket in the world. I did sit on the 100 level, but kind of like up. So wasn't the cheapest ticket, wasn't the most expensive ticket. And I think with the fees it was like maybe $100. I mean, I could have gone cheaper, but I was by myself, a little treat. Why not? Yeah. So it was nice.
You got to treat yourself, Sam. You got.
Yeah, it was nice. It was nice.
I appreciate it, man. Hey, listen, enjoy the rest of the day, whatever adventures may come your way. I hope you have a voyage of discovery, and then Wednesday we will find out all about it when we chat again.
All right. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Sammy.
See you later, Sam. Great stuff, Sammy Levitt, as always. Just love to chat to him. Just find out what's going on in his crazy life.
Oh, it is sacred to have a day off. I mean, they don't get very many of them that are full days off. So, yeah, I mean, I applaud him for wanting to go do a lot of things. And I also understand that he just didn't end up doing some of them because you're like, you know what? Might be kind of nice to just kind of chill for a minute.
The worst thing to do if you want to do something is to toy with ideas. And that's what he said. Oh, I've toyed with many. Well, yeah, then you'll never do anything.
Yeah.
You'll toy with 6 ideas and you'll settle on none. You got to kind of go straight at it, commit to the bit right from
Yep,
point
yep.
you wake up, or else you wind up at a coffee shop at 12:20.
Yes. Trying to connect.
Yeah, and that's where he is.
Mhm.
All right, let's take a timeout. When we come back, early spring training numbers from Peoria through 2.5 weeks. Meaningful? Meaningless? Meaning some? Figure it out. We'll chop it up, and we'll come right back to you with more Padres Deep Dive Hour. Annie and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Yeah. Rocking out. This hour on 97.3 The Fan is brought to you by Robert Half. 9 out of 10 hiring managers are having difficulty hiring. Robert Half is here to help. Our recruiting professionals utilize an award-winning AI to connect business with highly skilled talent. At Robert Half, we know talent. Visit roberthalf.com/talent today. Talent on display. Annie at Peoria Sports Complex. That's my little transition into our second segment of the Padres Deep Dive Hour. And this is one of my favorite things to do. No, it's not. This is a thing that we do as a bit every spring, and we could do it again in 2 weeks, which is let's look at these stats. Let's look at the numbers. What's going on? Anything to care about? No. Anything to care about?
I mean, I think that we kind of touched on some of this with Sam. It's for that fifth starter spot, and I agree with you. I do too, like to an extent, like where it's like now Stephen Kolek and Waldron are either going to have to drop off, or Randy Vasquez is going to have to be so darn good from here on out that unless there's something else that they're thinking, the Padres are thinking like on their side for a reason that they might want Randy Vasquez to start over one of the other guys. It is hard to kind of recover from that the longer spring training goes. I think you're going to end up using all those guys at some point, like we talk about. But I think the left field thing is also an interesting thing because, like you're probably going to go with your veterans. You're probably going to go with Jason Hayward. Even if Connor Joe had competition for his spot, you're going to go with them. You've paid them the $1 million. It more kind of lends to the competition of either are they going to play DH or whatnot, or as soon as these guys hit an extended slump or a slump of some kind, are you going to drop and part ways with them and say it's Tirso time? So those are going to be, I think, things to watch, but I have a feeling that they're going to go with the established veterans to start because they've got some credibility and some experience in the league.
Well, let's just start there. Matt Waldron, 2 appearances, 5 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts, ERA 1.8, whip 0.8. Stephen Kolek, 5 innings, 2 hits, no runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts, 0.4 whip. Randy Vasquez, 4 innings, 12 hits. 12 hits. 7 runs, 3 earned, 1 homer, 1 walk, 3 strikeouts. So, he's given up too many hits. Yeah,
Mike Schultz said after this first start, when he worked through some traffic, Mike Schultz kind of joked, well, he likes to play traffic cop, which is funny to an extent. And you've seen that with pitchers before, right? Like they can get in the jams, but then they can get out of the jams without too much damage. But if it continues to go on during spring training, it's going to put him in a spot where he doesn't feel confident either. And you're just using a lot of pitches too to get out of those innings.
How about the relievers on this team so far? Adrian Morejon, 3 shutout innings, 2 hits, no walks, 2 strikeouts. Nice. Yuki Matsui, 3 innings, 1 solo homer allowed, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Pretty good. Johnny Brito, 3 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned run, no homers, no walks, 1 strikeout. Wandy Peralta was fine. I watched Jeremiah Estrada yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Jeremiah Estrada, 2 strikeouts, perfect inning. He looks just like what you wanted, just like what you saw back in April and May. Robert Suarez had 1 rough outing. I'm not going to worry about that. He had another one that was just fine, but really almost everyone, the guys, Adam as well, and pretty much every leverage reliever has gone out there, gotten a couple of appearances and been dynamite.
Yeah, it's really good to see for the bullpen. And Robert Suarez, not his best outing yesterday, but you don't want to also read into that or get too caught up in it unless it continues happening.
By contrast, in the fight for the 7/8 spots in the bullpen, again, good stats help you so far, bad stats. Tom Cosgrove probably worked his way right on out of that with 6 earned runs already in 2 1/3 innings.
It's a bummer for Tom because he had such a great first season with the Padres, and then the second season took a step back and also had some injuries work in there, but then really worked hard this offseason to get in a better place, but it just hasn't gone well for him at spring. And he might be better than what his spring stats are showing, but like I said, the more that window starts closing and you start looking at who's going to make the team, and then guys' confidence gets a little, rattled, it can be a tough uphill climb from there.
Now, switching over to the hitting side, we talked about Tirso Ornelas. He's got a 1,489 OPS right now, And I think most impressive, 15 at bats, no strikeouts.
Yeah.
3 walks, no strikeouts for Turso. So,
Yeah.
if he keeps this up, that's amazing. The other guy who's had the great spring, Oscar Gonzalez, not exactly to the same level, but hitting 368 for the spring.
Yeah, he's had a good spring.
Yeah, 2 guys that are, really fighting for a job. They need to be good, and they've been good early.
And they're showing that they want that spot on the team. They're having those kinds of camps, like, a little bit kind of like Jackson Merrill did last year, where it's like, hey, look at me, I'm ready, I want this opportunity. Again, like, are they going to break camp with the team? Are they going to be called up at some point? Like, that is going to be one to watch. And then also, there's still like 3 weeks left. I mean, you just never know how things sort of work out, and you hope no one gets injured, but you just don't know.
Of all the Padre regulars, the guy who's gotten the most at bats, Cronenworth has 10 at bats, and Merrill has 11. So those are the 2 guys that have even played a little bit. I even for the purpose of this bit, I'm not willing to look at 3 games of Manny Machado or like the 6 at bats that Xander Bogaerts has had and draw any meaningful conclusions.
Too small of a sample size, as it is said. Now, Luis Ariz, though, he's hitting.
He's 4 for 10, so I guess I'm good with that.
Okay. Well, I feel like I've seen him hit some balls. So I'm like,
he's done.
Luis,
Yeah,
you've done well.
He had a couple of nice hits. Xander's 2 for 8 with 2 walks.
Yeah.
Oh, he's this, he's that. He's nothing yet. There's nothing there. We're looking for signals amidst the noise, right? Somebody who is really off or somebody who's really on.
And Xander Bogaerts is starting the team in the starting lineup. He'll be there. So whether he has a good spring training, a bad spring training, with any of these starters, they're all going to be in the lineup come opening day. And, as we've seen before, sometimes spring training stats, they're bad in spring training, and then the guy gets to the regular season and things completely turn around. Sometimes it's opposite. Like, it is very difficult to read into these.
I saw a Fangraphs article that posted this morning about literally the pitches are shaped different in the Cactus League than in the Grapefruit League because of the humidity in Florida and the lack of humidity in Arizona. And they had an anecdote in it of Justin Verlander giving up a homer and Logan Webb coming up to him at Giants camp and going like, dude, don't even worry about it. Your slider it's not the same shape here as it is.
That's interesting.
When you get back to San Francisco. So like, don't sweat it. And then they literally said like, the sliders drop a half inch fewer or a half inch less, and the fastball goes a little bit more.
Think about how hard that is, though, for a pitcher, because then you start to think, well, do I need to tweak some of my mechanics? Do I need to start working on this or that? You make adjustments you might not need to make, and then you've got to readjust back in the regular season. So that is a deceptive thing that goes on in both leagues.
It really is. And that's why I usually say spring training stats are a funhouse mirror. And inside the funhouse mirror, sometimes you see something kind of real. And other times, like, wait, I now look like I'm 500 pounds or like I have a sideways head. What is going on here? And there it is, your spring training stat check, early stat check. Nothing to worry about. Jason Hayward's 0 for 6, DFA him. Turso should be the starter and the cleanup hitter. Listen, got it.
I guess they could, they could decide, hey, we're going to go with Eggy. We're going to go with Turso. We're going to just DFA, or like you said, Jason Hayward. But I just don't see that happening. I feel like they're going to let these veteran guys have a chance in the regular season. They, of all people, know that spring training can be also a bit deceiving at times. And like you said, the defense is also a factor, and also just proven big league experience, which the other guys don't have. They need to get. I think that you don't want to keep them down too long if they're ready, right? But I think it just tends to kind of work itself out.
You know what else is going to happen, don't you? Yuli's going to make this team. Yuli Gurriel's going to make this team.
Just like the Rougned Odor deal.
What's he going to be? What's he going to be?
He's going to be the opening day DH batting 8th against Chris Sale.
If Yuli makes the team, if he makes the team day one, opening day, he gets $1 million?
Yeah, he gets $1 million.
Okay. Well,
he worked out with Manny. Manny thinks he's cool. He's going to make the team.
It's either that or they're giving him a chance now to say like, hey, he's not working out. We're not ready to bring him on the roster. But
I am afraid we are going to have to endure a 4 for 25 with 2 walks, all singles, and then they will DFA him. And that's I'll just and listen. I'm not mad at him. I'm just going to call that a Manny tax. Julie was working out with Manny. Manny thinks he's good. Manny's given him the stamp of approval. Yuli's going to make the team. I am stealing myself and everyone to the possibility.
Manny's going to call in when Yuli ends up being like the hero of the first month.
Sure.
And he's going to say,
Yeah.
Greg.
Great. And you know what I'll do? I'll point to Nelly Cruz's April stats from April 2023. You know, he drove in 16 runs in the month of April. Looked like he was going to drive in 100 runs for the Padres. Didn't happen. Didn't happen. All right.
But you look, if you make Yuli, if Yuli starts the team, then that's going to mean like a Turso or an Eggy doesn't, right?
Yes.
So I mean, that's
Right.
something the Padres really have to think about. Like, when do you want that youth movement to start taking shape? You know, and that's gonna actually be a storyline to follow here. How much they lean on some of these older guys when there certainly there is some competition from these younger guys who, don't really necessarily have the experience. Although Oscar Gonzalez does, and he can show that. But I mean,
a Gonzalez, a Lockridge, an Eggy.
Yeah.
Someone has to miss the boat for Yuli to be on the boat.
Mm-hmm.
So, get ready. Get ready. We'll see what happens. Let's take a timeout. When we come back, we wrap up the Padres Deep Dive Hour by taking a look at some of the other things happening around Major League Baseball spring training camps. The Athletic has named the 5 teams they believe can dethrone the Dodgers this year. Are the Padres on the list? If they were, wouldn't I tease it that way?
A's are probably on the list.
It could be.
Rockies.
Oh, definitely Dinger. After his dance moves we saw at spring training over the weekend. Plus
something very funny that 2 old teammates did to one another yesterday in the Grapefruit League. We'll get to that. We'll keep rolling. It's the Padres Deep Dive Hour. It's Andy and Elsten, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 11:43 on the Fan, your Padres deep dive hour. We do it every single day until the season's over. And the season hasn't even started, so we're locked in.
Yes.
We are locked in. However, nothing, and I mean nothing, is happening at Padres spring training today. It's a day off.
Nothing.
Zip, zilch, zero.
Nada.
Time
That
to rest.
is what is happening. That is what is happening. So we've chatted to Sammy. We've looked at the stats. Tomorrow, they'll be back at it in Peoria. We'll be back to Sammy having some interviews and some sound and such, and the daily shilt. There's no daily shilt today. It's all done. So let's look at some other things. See what else is going on around baseball. We both subscribe to The Athletic. The Athletic today, their baseball newsletter. It's a good one. I pop it open every morning just to kind of see where do we stand today, what's going on. And today they had the 5 teams that can dethrone the Dodgers. That was the tagline on the newsletter. 5 teams that can dethrone the Dodgers. Let's go through these teams. Do we think they can dethrone the Dodgers? The team number 1 on the list, the New York Yankees.
Okay, well.
Worked out so well from last year.
Didn't do it last time, but.
Yeah. Here's their blurb. Are the reigning AL champs a better team this year than last? Subtract Juan Soto and include injuries to Giancarlo Stanton, DJ LeMahieu, and maybe Luis Gil, and you've got a big deficit to fill. But add Max Fried, Cody Bellinger, and Devin Williams, and they might be better. I do think Devin Williams is a really big add to the Yankees. Yeah. Clay Holmes was super frustrating. They went to Luke Weaver at the end of the year. Mm-hmm. They're going to want him to be their setup man again. They probably feel a lot more comfortable with that. But Williams, really, really solid addition, should lock down the back end for the Yankees. And they've got Cole and Fried at the top of the rotation. There's no question they're going to be a good team this year. But to say that they're better than last year is really surprising.
Yeah, I mean, you lost to Juan Soto. I do agree on Devin Williams, and I think that was a big loss also for Milwaukee. So for the Yankees to get that, it is a big boost to their bullpen. How's their starting pitching? It's just kind of okay, I think, right, for the Yankees.
I mean, it's great at the top,
but right,
because you got Cole, and you got Fried. So,
yeah, that's right.
You're set there. Here, let me pull up their depth chart. Let's just do this. Let's do the academic exercise. Cole, Fried, Rodon, mm-hmm. Clark Schmidt. Right now, Marcus Stroman.
Okay, so they kind of have, and Marcus Stroman has been having not the best relationship with the Yankees of late. So you kind of have this kind of similar to the Padres. Actually, the Padres got Nick Pivetta, so maybe a little bit more locked down in San Diego, but kind of similar thing. It's definitely not a bad starting rotation, but you kind of don't know what you're getting with that back end.
Yeah, I mean, Schmidt's a good pitcher. Mm-hmm. He started playoff games. Rodon, good. I think they'll get Heel back. They loved what they got from him last year. I think it's a good team. I think the bullpen is just okay. I mean, to be honest, beyond Devin Williams and Luke Weaver, Ian Hamilton, Fernando Cruz, Tim Hill, Mark Leiter Jr., Tyler Matzik as an NRI. Lineup: Chisholm, Judge, Bellinger, Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, Volpe, Ben Rice, Jason Dominguez, as Waldo Cabrera.
Okay, they're a good team, though. I mean, yeah, the bottom of the lineup, maybe not. I'm
gonna give this one a thumbs
put
down.
Fear in the pitchers. If they don't fix their defense, it doesn't matter. You can get as far as you want to go, Yankees. You can go all the way to the World Series again. If you don't get better at the little things, you're just going to see a repeat of what happened last year. And I mean, that really showcased for them that they just didn't have the emphasis on that defense and some of the little things, and hurt them badly. Yeah.
My diagnosis on this is anything can happen. It's baseball, but I am not counting on the Yankees for that one. How about the Braves? Here's their blurb on Atlanta. New addition Jurickson Profar is looking good. But their biggest additions will be guys returning from injury, Ronald Acuna and Spencer Strider. If Chris Sale can come anywhere near repeating last year's NL Cy Young season, keep an eye out. Plus, they've still got some wiggle room in the budget to add via trade. I do think the Braves have a lot of things going for them in the terms of expected baseball bounce back. Above and beyond Spencer Strider. I don't know how Spencer Strider's elbow is going to respond, right? I can't just assume he's going to come back and throw 99 with that same hammer coming off the internal brace procedure, but maybe he will. Ronald Acuna is coming off of a second ACL tear. Is there another world where we see a 40-80 season or 40-70 season from Ronald Acuna again, or is his days of stealing 70 bags over?
The thing about him is sometimes it's not your first season back. I think he can get up to some really good numbers again, but he's working. This is going to be his first season back from the injury again. And I think if you're going to see that kind of production, it's probably going to be next season, not necessarily this season, but who knows? I mean, definitely had time to rehab, had time to get him, get himself better. But as we've seen with like so many other players, sometimes it's not immediate that you can kind of just pick up where you left off. I think the Braves are sneaky because there's so much that we couldn't tell about them last year. They had so many injuries, but they still made it into the wild card round. They still trucked on. They were able to fight. And now you do have a better team. You've got a team that, like you just mentioned, coming back from injuries. They made some additions. They said they might not be done this year adding, and they are looking to do a little bit more in the spring. I think they're really trying to get back to where they used to be.
The two guys I'm really interested in terms of boosting this Atlanta narrative, two guys who really took a step back last year. Austin Riley went from a consistent 30 home run hitter to fewer than 20. He had hand and wrist issues that kept him out at the end of the year. He's supposed to be fully healthy. And Matt Olson went from 50-something homers down to 20-something homers last year. What if he goes back up into the 40s in home runs? I think it's perfectly reasonable, when you've had a 53 and you've had a 20-something, that he could go somewhere back in the middle there. And then all of a sudden now you're talking about a lineup that's got Jurickson at the top and then has a lot of Albies and Riley and Olsen and Acuna. Like, this is going to be a deep, good lineup.
If this team gets going, I think you're going to see some really good hot stretches. Whether they can stay consistent, or as we've seen, they've already got some injuries to start the season, like other teams do. But how much can they withstand that? How consistent can they be? But they've got a good structure. I mean, they've got a good GM, a good manager. Team's got a pretty good core, guys that have come back and played together for a while. So I think you'll see I think you should see a step up from them. But is it enough to overtake the Dodgers? And again, I don't even know if the Dodgers are getting to the World Series. I mean, I understand the Athletic doing this because of the moves the Dodgers made this offseason, but who knows if they even make it.
For this purpose of the speed of the segment, the other three teams they mentioned were the Red Sox, the Phillies, and the Mets. Of those three, personally, I would put the Phillies on the top of that list. I think the veteran know-how of that clubhouse, the deep playoff trips that they've had in recent years. They have added Jesus Luzardo to their team. You've still got Harper, you've still got Turner, you've still got Castellanos, you've still got Nola, you've still got Wheeler. They've got a really good team in Philly. The Red Sox are an experiment to me. It's a whole bunch of I don't know. Is Bregman going to be good? Is Story going to be good? I think Crochet is going to be good. Does he stay healthy? There's a lot of questions to me in Boston.
Same. I think the Red Sox should be better than they were last year, but it still seems a little bit unsure. Like you're asking for Trevor Story to return to who he once was. You're asking for a lot. Can they fix that whole Alex Bregman situation? How are they going to do all that? Like, how is that going to have an effect later on? I don't know if they've done enough, honestly, but they've got a better team. The Red Sox have a better team. The Phillies, I agree. The Phillies are also contending, I think, with what the Padres are doing, which is you've got these guys in a window and you've made it in the playoffs, but you've never really gotten as far as you'd like to lately. So I think they feel the pressure of that window possibly closing, or how are they going to get to the promised land? And they've been trying so hard every year. The Mets, I think, are still in the race. I think the Mets got better over the offseason. They're still the Mets. Anything can happen. But they also kind of showed last year they were left for dead. They came back. They were able to build some cohesiveness and some chemistry within their clubhouse, got some of those guys back again. So I think the Mets are going to be trying to at least carry on from what they did last year.
And the Athletic had as an honorable mention, the Padres. the Rangers, the Cubs, and the Astros.
I think the Padres have just as good a chance as the Mets or the Red Sox. I think, even like in the Mets, exactly, like they're starting the season with a few guys on the injured list from their rotation, so that's a problem. To me, the Padres are right there in that mix.
And they completely left out the Arizona Diamondbacks, and that's
so are the Diamondbacks.
Yeah, that's a silly omission. The Diamondbacks are right there in the mix with every one of those teams.
I agree.
I'd say the Diamondbacks have a more complete team than the New York Yankees.
Yeah, I think
I will tell you that. Now, they don't have Cole and Fried at the top of the rotation, but they do have Burns and Gallen.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty good.
And they've got a really good mix, the Diamondbacks too, a good balance of guys who, are more consistent each year, and then some youth movement who's come up and done well for them, and kind of balanced out that roster for them. So I think that they're definitely a team that can be in contention.
All right. Last thing here. In Washington, Max Scherzer and Trey Turner were teammates for years. They won a World Series together. Max Scherzer, in his first outing in the Grapefruit League, challenged 2 calls with ABS, got them both wrong, and then complained to the press afterwards and said, "Could we just have humans be judged by humans?" So in his next outing, Max Scherzer faced Trey Turner to lead off the game, Phillies and Blue Jays. And here's what happens. Scherzer, if you're watching on YouTube, you'll see it. Scherzer throws first pitch of the game and click right down the middle.
First pitch of the day to Trey Turner is a strike.
And Trey Turner immediately
challenge. Trey Turner says, "I think that was a ball."
And then looks out and
right
just smiles.
We saw this the other day. A lot of challenges
right
early
down the
in the
middle.
game.
Turner smiling at him. Those two are former teammates, won the World Series together in Washington, traded together to the Dodgers.
they got
I wonder half
history.
if he's messing with
They're
them as
both
much.
smiling now.
Absolutely,
Scherzer's
that's what
smiling
that was.
too. Like, okay, yeah.
He said he literally just
That
did it
was
to
good.
troll him. That was awesome.
That was good. That was very good. Well played, Trey.
Padres Deep Dive Hour, all done. We come back with the 12 o'clock Sports Fix. All the news you need from the weekend that was on Annie and Elsten. It's brought to you by the Craft Taco. Whether you are craving gourmet tacos for lunch or a craft beer for happy hour, the Craft Taco is the answer. Now open at the Natural History Museum in Balboa Park as well as Sorrento Valley. Welcome back, everybody. Monday, March 3rd, 2025. Annie Halburn, Craig Elsten, and Braden Suprenant, all in our Odyssey studios overlooking Murphy Canyon. Time to get you caught up on everything that's going on in the sports world. It's your 12 o'clock sports fix. So while you're getting lunch ready, we've got this report ready for you, beginning with Annie and the baseball news.
Well, just breaking this morning, free agent pitcher Jose Quintana and the Milwaukee Brewers are in agreement on a one-year contract. I have not seen terms yet. If they're out there, someone send them to me, but I'm interested to see what he ended up signing for. The Braves have signed right-hander Hector Neris to a minor league deal with a non-roster invitation to big league spring training. The Mariners announced that right-hander Seth Martinez was claimed off waivers from the Marlins. Miami designated Martinez for assignment earlier this week. And today's move makes it 4 different organizations in a little under 4 months' time for the 30-year-old reliever. Braves catcher Sean Murphy has a cracked rib on the left side of his rib cage, and he'll be out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. Yes, he took a pitch to the ribs.
Ouch.
During a Grapefruit League game this past Friday. I saw some people on social media saying that this guy's made of glass. He took like a 100-mile-an-hour pitch to the ribs. Like,
oh, really cool. Somebody online sitting at their laptop or typing into their phone, maybe on their couch or in their car, said that the guy who took 100 miles to the ribs is made of glass.
Yeah, there's not much you can do on that. And if you took a 100-mile-an-hour to the ribs, I think my ribs would also not be in good shape.
I think everyone who posted that should just line up to take one in the ribs and show how tough they are.
They
are not made of glass.
They must be built different.
Yeah, built different.
Yeah, they're made of iron.
See what those bones are like, right? Garrett Whitlock underwent an internal brace procedure last May, which ended the right-hander's season and seemingly ensured he would miss some time at the start of the 2025 campaign. However, Red Sox manager Alex Cora indicated that Whitlock is on pace to rather handily beat the initial recovery timeline and is 100% going to be part of Boston's roster on opening day. Cardinals left-hander Zach Thompson suffered a tear in his left lat muscle. John Mozeliak told reporters over the weekend that he will be shut down and then reevaluated in 3 or 4 weeks. So he will most likely, pretty convincingly, start the season on the Cards injured list. He was competing for a job in the St. Louis bullpen. The Milwaukee Brewers hired Billy Epler, formerly the New York Mets general manager, to a special advisor position within the front office. SNY first reported the move. This is Epler's first job in a Major League Baseball front office since the league suspended him in February 2024 for improper use of the injured list, including, quote, deliberate fabrication of injuries, which happens everywhere with every team, but Epler took the fall. His suspension ended after the 2024 World Series. And finally, the Orioles and Nationals announced Monday morning that their years-long dispute regarding television rights fees from the Mid-Atlantic Sports Network has reached a final resolution. Per this morning's press release, MASN or Masson or Mason or however you call it.
Yeah, Masson.
Yeah. And the Nationals have come to terms on a 1-year agreement for the team's 2025 television broadcasts. The Nats are going to be free to explore alternative broadcaster opportunities for the 2026 season and beyond. And all disputes related to past media rights between the Nationals, Orioles, and Masson have been resolved, and all litigation will be dismissed.
Okay.
That is your baseball report.
And next year, add these teams to the list of teams that Rob Manfred can bundle up.
Yep.
Into an oncoming package.
Attempt to get them to come over to MLB Media, and I would imagine that they would do that. So, yeah.
Do you see that ESPN was asking to pay $200 million for their yearly package? That's what they asked for from $550.
Didn't see that. I thought they'd probably go to half. What I'm interested in is if they get that from someone else. I mean, I guess you need then someone to come in and give you what, 200 to 250 million for the same package sort of thing?
Which is what? Sunday Night Baseball, Wednesday Night Baseball, and some ESPN Plus stuff? Are they simulcast?
The home run derby and wild card round. Yeah.
They probably would have been better saying like 300 million. You know, I felt like they'd probably go to half, but 200 was probably a little low. Although maybe that was the start of their negotiation. I don't know. But now it's like, okay, well, who's coming in then? Who's going to give that money? Because otherwise you just lose the money. You're out 200 million. I'm sure they'll get someone to take on these games, but for how much?
Rob,
Rob,
got somebody on speed dial?
Get on it, Rob.
better
Let's
make
find
sure that
out.
you got a backup plan here.
The lockout's going to be so brutal.
Here's a man with almost enough
Yes,
money
it
to
is.
take over the ESPN plan. Braden
That's right.
Soprano.
Absolutely. We'll start with the National Football League. Bengals are going to, or they already have. They have placed a franchise tag on wide receiver T. Higgins for the second straight year. Higgins announced the news Monday by posting on X, quote, tag. Higgins' franchise tender would pay him $26.2 million for the 2025 season if he's unable to agree to a long-term contract with the Bengals by the July 15th deadline for such deals. Teams have until Tuesday at 4:00 to place the franchise tag on pending free agents. Cincinnati has expressed optimism that the team can get deals done this offseason with Higgins, wide receiver Jamar Chase, and defensive end Trey Hendrickson. Chase and Hendrickson are under contract for one more season. During his annual media session at the NFL Scouting Combine, Bengals de facto general manager Duke Tobin said the franchise wants to make Chase an all-pro receiver, the highest paid non-quarterback in the league, which would set a record. Higgins has played an integral role in helping shift the Bengals from the worst team in the NFL into a championship contender. So he gets the franchise tag again. That's bad news to Charger fans that thought they were going to get T. Higgins in free agency. Jimmy Johnson. Fox is starting to listen to us about their panels. Jimmy Johnson, who won 2 Super Bowls and a national championship as a coach, has announced his retirement from Fox after being part of its NFL coverage for 31 years. 81-year-old Johnson made the announcement Monday during an appearance on The Herd with Colin Cowherd. Quote, the most fun I ever had in my career, that's counting Super Bowls and national championships, was at Fox Sports, he said, adding that he loved working for CEO Eric Shanks and Fox NFL Sunday producer Bill Richards. Well,
He took some heat in the Super Bowl.
It's too many of those older guys on there.
I agree.
It's about time. I'm
But
sure.
Fox Sports is also trying to get a little win on his way out since they've had so much bad pub lately.
Yeah. They probably are like, okay, it's probably time for you to hang it up. You're 81.
Yeah.
Eagles, Super Bowl champion, are releasing 6-time Pro Bowl cornerback Darius Slay, according to Adam Schefter of ESPN on Monday. Slay's release will be designated as a post-June transaction, saving the Eagles $4.3 million against the salary cap. Eagles currently have a little over $20 million in cap space. Several key players are set to hit free agency next week, including linebacker Zach Bond, defensive lineman Josh Sweat, Milton Williams, and guard Mekhi Becton. Eagles have been doing a really good job retooling in the draft. Speaking of the NFL draft, this is the first time in a long time that every NFL team has their number one pick in the draft. Every NFL team has their number one pick this year in the NFL draft. Most teams have traded them the last couple of years.
First time since when?
I don't know. It's been a long time.
But it's been a long time, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
so
usually someone loses it.
Yeah, everybody's got their first round pick, including the Rams. Rams have a first round pick.
Okay.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I think they're okay with that with the Super Bowl that they had won. College basketball over the weekend. Aztecs survive the Arena Auditorium and the Dome of Doom. They had to stay an extra night in Wyoming due to plain mechanical problems with their charter jet. But they won 72-69 over Wyoming. That could have been a catastrophically bad loss. But they continue their gauntlet this week. They'll take on Nevada and UNLV to finish the season before they get ready for conference tournament action in Vegas. Cody Cluett and the USD Toreros defeated Portland 82-80. It's their first win in conference in 2025 as they win the first game in conference and now the last game in conference.
Okay.
Nice little bookend there.
Cody Cluett scored 35 points. The local product out of San Marcos High School in his grad transfer year. Played a little bit at St. Catherine's. So 82-80 victory for USD over Portland. Cody Cluett said after the game that pregame, he said to the team, well, we won the first game of conference play. We might as well win the last. And so they got it done on senior night. Good for the Toreros. They needed a win like that so bad.
Yes.
They will be back in action on Thursday against Pacific for the first game of the West Coast Conference tournament. If they win 6 straight games in 7 days, they'll be going to the NCAA tournament.
All right.
I really enjoyed the video montage I saw of Cody Cluett's 35 points with Jack just losing his mind increasingly shot over shot. As Cluett just started pulling up from like 28-6. Just pull it up from 26 and firing it home.
Not a bad way to finish your USD career.
No, not at all.
On senior night.
Highly memorable.
UCSD wiped the floor with Cal State Fullerton 155.
Yeah,
Yes.
Fullerton is 6-24 in the year, now 1-17 in the Big West Conference. But that's what you do against bad teams. You handle them. Irvine trying to keep the pressure on UC San Diego. They beat Long Beach State 70-60 in college basketball. Had high school basketball championships this weekend. A couple at Front Wave Arena. Montgomery is the Open Division champion in San Diego. They beat Carlsbad 53-45. In Division I, it was St. Augustine over Victory Christian Academy 59-42. Division II, Olympian over Mira Mesa 54-46. D3, Maranatha Christian wins the CIF championship. They defeated Southwest San Diego 47-44. Tri-City Christian beat Del Lago Academy 53-49 in the D4 final. D5, Pacific Ridge over Chula Vista 46-38. And in Division 5 AA, the Cambridge School over Southern California Yeshiva 50-36. I didn't even know those schools existed. Mission Hills wins the Open Division championship for girls basketball. D1 champion was Victory Christian Academy. D2 champion for girls, Otay Ranch. Division 3, Christian was able to beat Escondido Charter. In D4, Crawford over Escondido. D5, final was Santana getting the victory. And in Division 5 AA, it was the School for Entrepreneurship and Technology beating Foothills Christian 24-21.
The School for Entrepreneurship
I didn't even know
and
that was a
Technology.
school, but congratulations to.
And also basketball sometimes.
What's their mascot?
I could not tell you that.
The
I
salesman.
didn't even. If you don't have a football team, I probably don't know what your mascot is. And then on top of that, there's some other schools that don't have that I do know. I have never heard of School of Entrepreneurship and Technology in my life.
Please welcome to the gym, the School of Entrepreneurship and Technology Salespeople.
Where is this school?
Okay.
I gotta look it up. We can look it up during the.
Wait,
during
it's
the-
like
They have a basketball team that's good at women
Yes.
girls basketball.
The sales reps.
It's called SET High.
are these kids going to be like all of our bosses and our, you know what I mean? Like, are they going to be running the world
Hang on.
And,
Well, I mean, maybe.
the next 20 years? I think so.
Definitely
Maybe.
basketball, I guess.
Yes.
This school is. Where is this school? This
Can't
school is.
tell.
This school's by us.
Yes.
It's off
I-
Arrow.
that's what I thought.
It's
around
off
the
Arrow
corner?
Drive.
Wow.
Yeah, it's over.
Can we go there next?
It's down the street on the 805 163
It's so close.
merge spot. It's next to those condos where that park is.
I think they might be the Lions. Maybe.
I mean, that's a
I
good
don't
guess.
know.
If you're going to guess a
Okay.
high school mascot, Lions
What's
and
the
Bulldogs
Tigers?
are
Yeah,
probably
Tigers,
okay.
Bulldogs.
Yeah, that's over by the school for like I think French speakers or something. Yeah, French de San Diego, LFSD. Apparently there's like 4 or 5 schools over there.
The bootstrappers. 'cause
Apparently.
They're all entrepreneurs.
So-
They're pulling themselves up
Yes,
by their
it's,
bootstraps.
SET
center for ants.
High, women's basketball champions for Division 5 AA. Congrats to all the state champions. Congrats to all the schools that, even though they didn't, or sorry, the CIF champions. Congrats to all the schools that did not make or win CIF that do qualify for state. We'll have updates on that for all the basketball teams here in San Diego. So go represent San Diego School for Entrepreneurship and Technology.
Yeah.
They had some tough battles. I mean, they won 31-30 over Warner, who was the number
Grind.
1 seed in
Wow.
Division 5 AA. Little upset there for SET. And then I've never seen a 24-21 basketball score, but you know what? They did it over Foothills Christian, who was the 2 seed. Wow, what in the 1997 Arizona Wildcats is going on with SET, knocking off all the top seeds in Division 5 AA? How about it? That's enough for me. Here's Craig.
All right. Got a clip here right at the start, Braden, as we begin our local report. And we have talked a lot about San Diego FC's home opener, their record crowd, the 0-0 draw against St. Louis City SC, the chant that marred the end of the match. We will chat to Tony Sanchez from San Diego Punto Football coming up at 1 o'clock. We'll get his thoughts on everything. They were there hours before,
Mhm.
from tailgate to, walk into everything else. But here, something we didn't get to play earlier in the program. Here is sporting director Tyler Heaps, who's been on our show multiple times. Here's what he had to say to start his press conference regarding what happened at the end of the match.
What Mikey said, it's totally against our values as a club, but also who we are as people. One of our core values is being a good person, and I think that's what we will continue to stand behind. It's totally unacceptable. And obviously us as a club will make sure that it does not continue well into the future. And it's something that we're very strong with. What Mikey said.
So just in case you were thinking that this is something that is actually debatable, it's not. And the club is going to take it out stem and root.
The biggest thing to me is that they've decided in MLS that this is not acceptable. So I see the comments. People are telling me like, wait, this happens here in Mexico. This is that. They've decided this is not okay.
Correct.
So you got to kind of roll. I mean, you have to. I suppose you could not go to the games or not agree with it. But if that's like the line that they're drawing in the sand, then they're free to create consequences around that.
That is exactly right. No real news for San Diego Wave FC, but bad news for a former Wave, my favorite one, Naomi Girma. Her debut match for Chelsea took place yesterday, and Girma had to pull up, had to leave after 59 minutes due to injury. Chelsea played to a 2-2 draw. We hope Naomi is going to be okay.
Yes.
All good things come to an end. And even though their sticks remain red hot, San Diego Gulls saw two results go the wrong way this weekend at Pechanga Arena. The Calgary Wranglers snapped San Diego's 7-game winning streak on Friday with a wild win, 6-5. Then on Saturday night, Bakersfield came into Pechanga and emerged winners 5-4 in overtime. Gulls head up to San Jose on Wednesday, trying to get things turned back around when they take on the Barracuda. The San Diego Sockers got a hat trick from Charlie Gonzalez, 2 more goals from Keiko Gontan in an 8-5 road victory over the Tacoma Stars Saturday night. Sockers remained in third place in a tightly packed MASL table. Sockers will host the Empire Strikers Wednesday night at Front Wave Arena. Staying in Oceanside briefly, San Diego Clippers beat Indiana twice, then lost to South Bay Lakers 120-105 on Sunday. The Clips will host Motor City on Thursday. And San Diego Mojo going in the right direction. Mojo picked up 2 wins at home last weekend, beating Grand Rapids and Columbus by 3-1 scores. The Mojo are back up to 5-8 after a 6-game losing streak. They've won 2 in a row. Now they head to Grand Rapids for a midday game, Wednesday evening, late afternoon, which you can find on YouTube. All right, switching over to the NBA. Gotta love this one. Jimmy Butler. It's always good wherever he is, but what he leaves behind, well, it's a mess. New Warriors star Jimmy Butler is facing a brand new lawsuit claiming he did not pay rent and left his Miami Beach home in disarray near the end of his time with the Heat. According to 5-Star Marketing and Promotions, they have filed a lawsuit against Butler in Miami-Dade County. The company says Butler failed to pay 2 months worth of rent after his lease expired, and that he left the home in quote-unquote complete disrepair. Butler first signed a lease for the nearly 5,400 square foot rental property in 2022. The 5-bedroom, 6-bathroom home. Oh my God, I'm just imagining what would it be like to have 6 bathrooms.
You would be in heaven. You wouldn't even know what to do with yourself.
He lives here too, right? Doesn't he own a house here?
Yeah, it's a home here too.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
He lives in Poway.
I heard Ben and Witz talking about this, and I agree. Why should he have to upkeep the pool? I feel like that should have been part of the agreement, or maybe he didn't want people coming around. I don't know.
Well, let's start with the fact that his rent is $130,000 a month.
Okay, but you signed up for that, Jimmy. You signed that lease.
Yeah, so
you make good money.
Yeah.
He bilged him for 2 months of it, so that's $260,000.
Yeah.
Furthermore, according to the rental company, Butler rarely did proper upkeep, did not allow maintenance to take place.
Oh, okay, that makes more sense.
Denied workers access to check the heating and air conditioning system,
Jimmy,
which led to a significant leak that required ceilings and floors to be replaced, and the people he hired to clean the pool
Oh, no.
allegedly neglected their duties and caused the pumps to break. Also, Butler changed the locks and didn't give the landlord the key.
Oh, my God. Jimmy, what was going on, man? What were you doing there?
What's his new landlord thinking right now? Reading this report, get out. Get out now.
Marin County right now is just having convulsions.
Get out.
Right. They're like, how binding is this contract? I think I heard something about mold too. Mold is
Mold.
tricky, man.
Mold
You
is
gotta-
can't
mold
mess
is
around with
bad.
mold.
Yeah.
Mold is a bad thing.
Oh, Jimmy.
Maybe
Jimmy,
his brain
get
got
out.
moldy at the end in Miami. Maybe that's what turned it all south. I don't know.
God, he was protesting the Miami Heat and everything about Miami. He's just all
Yeah.
out on
Yeah.
all of it.
He was like, "Screw you, Miami."
I hate this
done.
Yeah.
place. What do you think the reception's going to be like if he goes back there?
Bad.
Bad.
Lakers last night improved to 38-21 with a 108-102 win over the Clippers. They swept the Clippers in a weekend set and moved towards second place in the Western Conference.
Who?
It's the first time beating the
The
Clippers
Lakers.
in a
Oh,
long
Lakers.
The Lakers, yeah. I mean, they've gone from play-in maybe to like right now they're a half game ahead of everyone for second place, closing in on first.
Do you have
Okay. Some Lakers magic.
do you have the Maverick story on there?
The Maverick story. What do I got?
They
No.
raised ticket prices.
Oh no.
I just saw it on ESPN.com. Hey, let me pull it up. I was like, oh, that's a good one. I'm like, oh wait, hold on.
Oh.
Listen to this. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Citing ongoing investments
did.
in the team and fan engagement.
Uh-huh.
Quote, the
Mm.
Dallas
Yeah.
Mavericks are upping season ticket prices by at least 8.5% for next season. The increase is the second in 2 off seasons and comes on the heels of trading All-Star Luka Doncic to the Lakers last month. Mavericks have faced significant backlash from fans and questions nationally from media and observers since they parted with Doncic, the 25-year-old face of the franchise, in a trade that brought back All-Star Anthony Davis. In a ticket cost plan revealed Monday morning in a news release, the Mavericks said the new scale of seat prices will better reflect seat values in high-demand areas, such as seats closest to the court and fan experiences with upgrades and access to in-game entertainment and member benefits. Despite the adjustments, full-season members could save up to 23% compared with projected market prices next season, according to the Mavericks. Season ticket costs for the club access level, which includes premium seats and floor arena seating, will rise more than 10%, and some terrace level seats are going up from $20 to $24 a game.
It's pretty tone deaf. I mean,
Tough
yeah,
sell, buddy.
I think the Mavericks something happened there. You know, I thought I saw that the whole Luka thing was, I saw some speculation from reporters that it had to do with the TV deal and then losing the TV deal. And that they're kind of going through what Major League Baseball teams might have gone through, because they also had like those kinds of Bally's deals or whatever that have fallen through. I think they made some bad choices somewhere, and now they're needing to recoup costs. I don't know.
They've made
know.
mistakes.
I don't know how
Mistakes were made.
Mistakes have been
exactly. Like
made.
there's something that we don't know about that has gone on that they're trying to get the fans, you know, and raise money to kind of cover or help them out on. But how do you tell fans that?
What is that meeting like? You know what, guys? I know we traded Luka, but we're gonna have to raise some ticket
Hey,
prices.
this will be fun. Let's do this on a Monday. Let's do ticket prices.
Monday.
I have a friend.
Citing fan engagement. Hey,
What-
we're going to give you even more access to the
I-
team you hate.
I have a friend that works in ticket sales for the Mavericks. I might have to check in on him
That's
Hey,
amazing.
to
Well,
see how
and-
he's doing,
and-
because he was very upset that they traded away Luka.
There were a lot of fans that were like wanted their money back, and,
Yeah.
and you know, you're not going to get your money back, but the recourse is next year you don't have to re-up as a season ticket holder. And so I wonder how many will do that or will pay the extra 8%.
I wasn't buying the move
fees.
to Vegas because of the DFW market, but the more I see this, the more I'm like, oh, they're trying to just alienate their crowd so bad.
Alex Ovechkin on the ice tonight against Ottawa. He is 10 goals away. He got 2 over the weekend, so he's 10 goals away from Wayne Gretzky. Kings are at Chicago. And congratulations to Joe Highsmith, not your average Joe. He is the winner of the Cognizant Classic PGA Tour in Palm Beach. And that is your 12 o'clock sports fix, extra special double-sized for a Monday.
Raising ticket prices.
Brilliant.
Why not wait till the end of the season? Give some time to just kind of let it play
Maybe it's
out.
kind of like, you know how the Padres ask for, you have to
Yeah,
like sign
it's
up by
renewal
like,
time.
Right. You know
You
what
know,
it
Renewal
is?
time.
Right.
They're like, you know what? F it. Let's just double down. Let's
Yeah.
just go
Yeah.
all heel.
we got to send that letter out to our people. you know?
Mavericks
Yeah.
major heel turn in town. Cowboys fans
rip
have
off
never
the
been
tourniquet.
Mhm.
Cowboys fans have never been more thankful to have Jerry Jones
Yeah.
as their owner.
Yeah.
Never mind ripping off the Band-Aid. This is ripping off the tourniquet.
Yeah,
Just
forget
let Just letting yourself bleed out.
How can we make this
That's
even
it.
worse? Let's just make it as miserable as possible. Let's just get it out of the way now.
All right, when we come back, let's touch on college hoops. We haven't really gotten there all day. San Diego State, UCSD, USD, Point Loma. We're going to get to it all next. It's San Diego's #1 sports station, Annie and Elsten on the Fan. Underdog is the place to turn your sports smarts into cold, hard cash. Want to win up to 1,000 times your money? You can do it with Underdog, now available to play in the Golden State of California. Craig Elsten here for Underdog, telling you about daily fantasy sports. That's the game. All you have to do is jump onto the app and select as few as 2 players, as many as 8, from at least 2 different teams, and go higher or lower on one of their projected stats for their upcoming game. You can play NBA, college basketball, men's and women's. You can play NHL. How about the PGA Tour? Even the Major Arena Soccer League is available for you to play on Underdog. So much versatility, so many different options, and so many great ways to not only get a deposit match, but also to get a profit boost along the way. Check it out. All you have to do is download the Underdog app and sign up using the promo code Craig, that's CRAIG, to unlock a special offer of up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make your first deposit. Join in on the fun. Sign up with promo code Craig. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona and Massachusetts, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Void in Colorado. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit ncpgambling.org. In Arizona, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP or text NEXT STEP to 53342. In New York, call the 24/7 Hope line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
12:32 on the Fan. Annie and Elsten here, joined by Braden Suprennan as we take you along on a Monday morning, turning things over at 2 p.m. to Gwyn and Chris, joined by Matt Scraby, and then maybe a little Scraby show action today. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be a Scraby show.
All right.
Yes. I was going to check the schedule real quick.
Just chatting to Scraby, continuing your conversation. It continues.
So, Scraby was at the, I think the SDFC game on Saturday. Yeah,
he was. I was trying to. There was a moment when I was in the section in the north end that I tried to take my Mac, take the zoom up to 23x and try and find where's Scraby, where's Tony, where's didn't find it, but it was hard. It was difficult. All right, we're gonna have silly games next segment. We're gonna be playing Anybody Knows, and we've got a great brand new grand prize of tickets to see Alanis Morissette at the Coliseum at Caesar's Palace, plus a 2-night stay at the Flamingo and a $100 gas card. So that is coming up next segment. Right now, let's spin through the college basketball that was. And it's March.
March.
It's March. It is March Madness. We're allowed to say it. It's not.
Are we allowed?
Yeah, it's not
an ad.
It's the same
It's
like
only
the
in an
Super
ad.
Bowl. You just can't.
Yeah,
You're
we can
selling
say it all the
something.
time.
No.
March
I know
Madness,
that.
March Madness, March Madness. Now, if I was doing it for some company, it'd be the big event
The big thing that happens in March.
where people are crazy. All right. San Diego State has done so much in the last 2 weeks to burnish up their bona fides and get ready for March Madness. That win over Boise State, I'm telling you, that was the Circle the Wagons night. That was the night that they put it all together.
Mm-hmm.
Then, drop one at Utah, but Magoon got hurt. Come back, huge win over New Mexico. Now you go to Wyoming, and I got to agree straight up with Brian Dutcher, because Coach Dutcher was asked after the game, a little disappointing. You only won by 3 points. And he's like, I've come here too many times. And the day that they're off the conference schedule, I am never bringing a team back to Laramie, Wyoming. I don't care how many points we win by. We got to win. I'm psyched.
I believe him. I think it
Same.
really looks like a hard place to play. It looks like just a dreary, doomy.
Dome of Doom.
Yes.
Arena Auditorium. They even try to bore you going in there.
Right.
Yeah.
Am I
It's
coming to see a
just-
stage play? Where am
Right. It's just, and then you have also the altitude, and then you just have it just doesn't look like a good. It's kind of like the Rockies or those teams that just where you should beat them on paper, but it's just hard to play.
At 1:00, we got Aztecs in Wyoming. At 5:00, it's the dance recital from the local dance studio here in Laramie. And then bingo after.
Right, exactly. Stay in your seats, gang.
And then I thought it was
Bingo's gonna
funny.
be hot tonight.
It was almost like a so serendipitous that they had mechanical trouble on their plane
Of
and
course.
there you go.
they could stay for bingo if they wanted to, because they couldn't leave Laramie. They were trapped in Laramie. It sounds like a horror movie waiting to happen. So they
Sounds like a daily fact of life.
Yes.
Trapped in Laramie.
should have just stayed for bingo.
Oh my
But
goodness.
so good for them to
Yes.
escape with the win. No Magoon Guath again, so you get it done. BJ Davis, Miles Bird, each had good nights. So or 18 points on the night. So I mean, look, you take care of business, you get out of there, and then you're like, thank you, Laramie. I've done my time here. I do not need to come back.
Yep.
What
Peace
happens
out.
in Laramie stays in
Yes. Yeah.
And everything else stays in Laramie too, except for them. They get out as fast as possible. UNLV's up next, and then there's one more game to follow after that, and then that's it for the conference schedule.
San Diego's up
Nevada,
there.
right? UNLV
They have
Nevada.
they play the 2 Nevada schools this week, and then they get ready for conference tournament.
So what a turnaround for SDSU.
Mhm.
At this point, and I'm the guy who 3 weeks ago was like, you better just get ready to win the conference tournament. These last 3 weeks have been the difference.
Right.
Now I think anything short of a double L week and losing twice to the Silver State is going to be, I think SDSU is going to be in prime position. And honestly, it's less about the results to me. It's that they're playing better, they're doing better, they're finding their footing. And that means not only can they make the tournament, but they can go in as a good team with a chance to win.
Yeah, and I was reading in the UT that the committee will take that into effect, that they've got a guy out that is a really good player on their team, but they've still been able to win. They've still been putting together games where they can succeed and show what they're made of. And so now you get Magoon Guath back. He's not out for the season. Hopefully he can come back, and they'll take that all into consideration. I think that puts San Diego State in a really good spot.
They now have the 9th best non-conference strength of schedule. That
That's
continues
wild.
to
Yeah.
move.
Just Houston just keeps helping them.
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah,
it?
and Houston just won Houston plays tonight against Kansas or this week, and they should obliterate Kansas at this point in time. But
Mhm.
Aztecs 50 in the net, 40 in RPI. Their non-conference RPI is 19, which is even saying something even more important. That's just fact that eliminates all the conference games, and so just their non-conference
Yeah.
deal. They're very high. Strength of schedule 56 on the year. Non-conference strength of schedule 9. In terms of the numbers that matter for the committee, quad 1 games are 4-5, quad 2 4-1, quad 3 3-1, and they're a perfect 8-0 in quad 4 games.
Now UCSD can't improve certain metrics because the Big West isn't highly rated enough.
And their next 2 games are rough.
But guess what? They're going to probably beat them both by 50 points, and that's going to help and do the best that
Which
they
is
can.
kind of what they have to do.
Exactly.
They have
like
to blow them out.
100 to 55 or whatever it was. Like that's
Yep.
your statement of saying we are just facing an inferior team and we're going to just completely blow you out.
And that's
So,
how you don't lose points.
exactly.
Right.
In RPI
Yeah.
and net, or try to not lose points. Sometimes just beating them by 50, you still lose points because
Yeah.
of the team you play. So, and they got Long Beach on Thursday. Long Beach is 325 in the net. So another quad 4 game that doesn't help them. And then they got Davis on Saturday, which is a 222 team in the net.
But listen, what matters for San Diego, as you know, you guys all know, but for UCSD, the schedule's the schedule. It's what it is. They are winning all the games. They've won
Yeah.
11 in a row. They've got 26 wins now. They're
Yeah.
26-4 for the season. I mean, what a year. And literally the UCSD SDSU double ticket to March Madness is looking more and more and more like it can actually happen.
Yeah, I think as we talk about SDFC starting and the Waves starting their season, and the Legion, the Gulls, the Seals, and Mojo, and then you've got the Padres starting. Now you've got 2 local college basketball teams that look like they're going to be in March Madness and be pretty exciting for San Diego, who has really supported San Diego State throughout this whole process, and I feel like is going to support UCSD the same way.
Yeah, Irvine's moving up on the bubble, which is good because they don't show the automatic qualifiers part of the bubble. So the more Irvine moves up, it kind of gives you a guide of where
Yeah,
UCSD is should
Right.
they lose that one game in Vegas. They have been moved now, UCSD, to the should be in category on the latest bubble update on ESPN, and this is what it says. They have a 70% chance to make the tournament. Triton's special note, UCSD has won 11 in a row, extending its streaks Saturday by demolishing Fullerton by 45. Triton's net ranking is in the top 40 nationally, which helps their resume, even though their basketball power index hovers around the mid-50s, and they have a poor strength of schedule outside the top 250 at 270. They also scored an early season win at Utah State. Was a lot better of a win before than it is now, is what they're saying.
Okay.
Just because the Aggies have lost a couple games, regardless.
Yeah.
UCSD ought to win out from here, and it will be interesting to see if the Tritons need to make an at-large case after the Big West tourney. They might be able to. 70% chance of making the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
They said 25 to 30% if they don't win their conference. That's still better numbers than a lot of teams have.
Mhm.
Don't want to put it in the hands of the committee, but I think
Right.
UCSD, if they can, win their next 3 games, which would put them in the conference championship game, I think a close game with Irvine, if they drop it, should get them in the tournament anyway.
I agree with you. By the way, I forgot to put the Legion in the fix. Shout out to John Manenti, the new head coach. They've won twice in a row on the road.
There you go.
There you go.
2 blowout wins, and they're coming back home this weekend.
Nice
So,
job for the Legion.
yeah, well done, San
Mhm.
Diego Legion. Hey, we mentioned it. Cody Cluett, right?
Cody
Cody
Cluett.
Cluett. Yeah.
35 points.
Just amazing.
Yeah,
Congrats
that
to
is
USD.
amazing. Yeah.
16-game losing streak, rearview mirror. Congrats to Point Loma Nazarene.
Yes.
Both men's and women's teams clinching their Pac West regular season titles. Both get the advancement to the double bye to the semifinals
That's great.
of their conference tournament. So rooting for all of our local clubs, but got a great chance for 3 to make it to their respective college tournaments.
Yeah.
So incredible stuff. All right, let's take a time out. Silly games time. Time to prove your ability to answer somewhat easy, almost deceptively easy trivia questions on the game of trivia known as Anybody Knows, where you have to go head to head with Annie Heilbrunn. Phone lines are open now. 833-288-0973 is our number. 833-288-0973. Give us a call right now. Braden will screen up a contestant, and when we come back, your chance to qualify for tickets to see Alanis Morissette at Caesar's Palace, along with a 2-night stay at the Flamingo. It's Anybody Knows right after this. Silly Games on the Fan. 12:48. Welcome back. It's time for Silly Games. Each day on the Annie and Elsten show, in this third segment of the 12 o'clock hour, somewhere around 12:45, we bring you a different silly game. But each game has the same purpose, to try and qualify someone for our end of the month grand prize drawing. And this month, brand new drawing, first time to play today, 2 tickets to Alanis Morissette at the Coliseum, the Caesars Palace Coliseum, a 2-night stay at the Flamingo Hotel and Casino, and a $100 gas card. See Ticketmaster.com for tickets. Time to play the game of easy trivia, known as Anybody Knows. We have scoured the universe looking for a contestant. Actually, we just threw out a phone number. And here's JW in Carlsbad who got through. What's up, JW?
What's up, Craig?
How are you?
I'm good. How's everybody?
Doing very well. We appreciate you calling. You're today's contestant on Anybody Knows. And before we play, tell us all a little bit about yourself.
I am a very proud father of 2 boys. I got one at Cal State Fullerton and one headed to Hawaii.
Amazing.
I'm a lifelong San Diego native. And don't tell anybody, but Annie is my secret crush.
Okay. Well, luckily, you just said that in a private line, so no one heard it.
Nobody heard anything.
Okay. Jada,
Heard
here's
what?
how it's going to work. It's Anybody Knows. Our quizmaster, Braden Soprenet, has in his hands a card with 10 trivia questions. He is going to fire them out to you, rapid fire style. You're going to answer them. Everyone you get right's a point. If you get all 10 right, you win guaranteed. Then Annie will come back in. She'll hear the questions for the first time, take the same survey. We'll compare scores. And if you tie or beat her, you are qualified to go see Alanis Morissette. Now, here's the only thing I'm going to say to you, JW. The questions are designed to be easy. Sometimes people fool themselves by overthinking it. So just try and stay there balanced, and you'll be in great shape. Sound good?
Thank you, sir.
All right. I'm going to keep score. I wish you best of luck.
All right,
Thank you.
1 minute on the clock. Starting with question number 1. What does it mean to order something a la carte?
Separate from like a main dinner, so off the menu.
Separately priced items on the side.
There you go.
Correct. What president is depicted as a giant seated statue at his memorial in Washington, D.C.?
Lincoln.
That'd be President Lincoln. What Dr. Seuss character attempted to steal Christmas?
The Grinch.
The Grinch. The Beatles were John, Paul, Ringo, and who?
George.
George. What color is Barney the dinosaur on the children's show Barney and Friends?
Purple.
Purple, like his cousin
Same
Dinger.
as Dinger. Yep.
Like socks, but for keeping hands warm in the winter.
Mittens.
Gloves.
Mittens are fine.
Give it to
Gloves or
Mittens
mittens.
for kittens. We'll
Yep.
take it.
Sasquatch's nickname is what?
Yeti.
Bigfoot.
Oh,
The dance where you put various limbs in and out of a circle in turn and shake them all about.
Hokey pokey.
A hokey pokey. What kind of food is brie?
Cheese.
Yeah.
A birthday party game where you try to pin the tail on the picture of this animal.
Donkey.
Donkey.
3,
9
4,
to 10.
5, 6, 7, 8, 9. JW, very well done. Put you on hold. See if we can get you a W here yourself to go with your last initial. Here comes Annie Halbrin. And he's been chatting with Scrabes. Did he give you any tips, pointers?
Scrapes, no. Scrapes was just chatting about had a good time on Saturday.
Nice.
Yeah, but
Good for
Rick, I
Scrapes.
feel like Rick from sales wants to play.
Does he?
Anybody knows.
Yeah.
I get that feeling from him.
Well, if it's called Rickabuddy Knows, then we'll do that. But it's Anybody
That's
Knows.
right.
So
Rickabuddy knows.
we'll go
Mhm.
back with that. All right.
Sponsored by
you're-
Baja Ricks.
Yeah, precisely. Undoubtedly. So JW is your contestant today.
Okay, JW.
His score is in, and I wish you luck.
I wish
1
myself luck.
minute on the clock,
Mhm.
Annie. What does it mean to order something a la carte?
On its own, by itself?
By itself.
Okay.
What president is depicted as a giant seated statue at his memorial in Washington, D.C.?
Oh God. Is that
The only-
Lincoln?
That'd be
Yes.
Lincoln.
It would be Lincoln.
Be the only one.
All right.
What Dr. Seuss character attempted to steal Christmas?
The Grinch.
The Grinch. The Beatles were John, Paul, Ringo, and who?
Yoki or whatever.
It's George.
George.
It'd be
that's right.
George.
They always forget
Oh,
George.
George.
Ah, poor George.
Dang it, George.
What color is Barney the dinosaur in the children's show Barney and Friends?
Oh, well. Dinger. Purple.
Purple like his cousin Dinger.
Mhm.
Like socks, but for keeping hands warm in the winter.
Oh, gloves? Mittens?
Gloves.
Either
gloves.
one is
Okay.
acceptable.
Sasquatch's nickname is
The big squatch.
Big what?
Big what?
The big squatch.
You got big right. Big.
The
Big-
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot.
Sure.
No, she got it
I got
wrong.
it wrong. I didn't know that's who said
The
that.
big
so-
squatch.
The big squatch. Bigfoot. The dance where you put various limbs in and out of the circle and turn and shake them all about.
Oh, you do the hokey pokey.
Hokey pokey.
Yes.
What kind of food is brie?
What kind of food is brie? Oh, cheese.
Cheese. A birthday party game where you try to pin the tail on a picture of this animal.
On the donkey.
On the donkey. Even if we gave her Bigfoot, she still would have lost.
Yep. 9-8. The final score today. JW.
JW.
There we go.
What one did he get wrong?
He too failed to identify Bigfoot.
He called it Yeti.
He called
Oh,
it
yeah,
Yeti, but
Yeti,
as
yeah.
we know, the nickname of the Yeti
Is abominable snowman.
Abominable.
snowman. Exactly.
Mhm.
Instead of the abominable.
The most
Abominable.
cut snowman you've ever
Yes.
seen.
Such a rip snowman.
The
I love
abominable
him.
snowman.
Mhm.
JW, stay on hold. Braden will get your information during the break. Well done, sir. You've kicked off the week of silly games with a win.
JW Marriott.
When we come back, hour number 4, Tony Sanchez joins us.
All right.
1 o'clock, hour number 4 of the Annie and Elsten show. And if you are one of the many who have signed up for our 97.3 The Fan Biggest Fan Contest, this is your moment. Please listen carefully. We want to congratulate today's biggest fan. It's Carla Meza from Lake Elsinore. What's up, Carla?
Woo! Lake Elsinore listener.
Yeah,
Love that.
North County way.
Mhm.
Appreciate you.
Super North County.
Home of the
Riverside County way.
Lake Elsinore
Storm.
storm. Right.
Indeed. Carla Meza from Lake Elsinore, give us a call back in the next 10 minutes at 833-288-0973, and you'll qualify for our grand prize, 20 tickets for you and your friends for a night in our Odyssey Suite at a Padres game later this season. Remember, you can register your name at 973thefansd.com/biggest fan. But we're looking for Carla Meza from Lake Elsinore. You've got till 1:11, Carla.
It's Mesa with a Z, Rod.
Meza.
Carla. Is that right?
Meza.
Let's go, Carla.
Mesa.
Yeah, not Mesa. Meza.
Mesa.
Carla Meza. Get to it, Carla. Get thee to a phone.
Lake Elsinore, the home of the storm, and that gigantic inflatable duck I saw. That one
Yes,
time.
the big duck.
The gigantic
Is
duck.
that still there?
I doubt it.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't really venture up there too.
I
many
don't either.
times.
Yeah, pretty decent in and out, and I'm running out of things, but I'm sure there's plenty of
A lot
other
of car,
nice-
a lot of car dealerships up there.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Oh, yeah. That's for sure.
Probably all the car dealerships of Riverside County are right there.
All right. Let's get things rolling here in hour number 4 and welcome back our friend who's been on many a time on the Annie and Elsten program. No one covers the local soccer scene like San Diego football, San Diego punto football, FUTBOL. Tony Sanchez was there all week covering everything going on from training at Singing Hills to the preparation at Snapdragon Stadium to being there hours in advance to cover the tailgating, the ingress, and then the match itself as SDFC plays to a 0-0 draw against St. Louis City SC. Here's Tony Sanchez back on Annie and Elsten. What's up, Tony?
How's it going, everybody? Happy Monday. And wow, what a crescendo of soccer that just happened this last weekend. Couldn't be more excited to be on. Thank you for having me.
The pleasure is ours, my friend. Let's just start things kind of broadly. You just said it, a crescendo of soccer. And by the way, I invite everyone, check out San Diego Punto Football on Instagram, San Diego _football. They just put out a really, really cool video, not only kind of going through some of the sights and sounds and scenes of Saturday, but also tying it into the history and
All right, cool.
and into, you know, how long it's been to get to that moment on Saturday. So on that global sense, Tony, how satisfied were you at the end with what you saw?
I do have to say that the San Diego FC promised a fantastic show, and that's exactly what happened. But moreover, the community of San Diego was happy to be able to tailgate, to be able to celebrate the game. And across the board, from people who have been working on the front lines in teams from 1904 San Diego Loyal to SDFC to the supporters, everybody came together, and it was a lot of hugging going on and congratulating for making it here. But this is just the beginning, and people are excited, and hopefully they can continue with that momentum moving forward into the season from here on out.
Tony, for those of us who are a little more new to soccer and used to there being a finalization at the end of games or a winner and a loser and all that good stuff, with SDFC, the way that I at least understood it was they controlled the ball most of the game. Great news is that they haven't allowed a goal the last 2 games, but they weren't also able to make a goal. What's your perspective on that and the way that they played?
Well, it's exactly what we've been hearing from head coach Mikey Varas through the preseason, through the creation of this club, that they're going to go ahead and be the team that wants to control the ball. With that, they dominated possession with 67% of the ball against St. Louis's 33. Just to give you kind of an idea, San Diego FC completed 639 passes in that match compared to St. Louis's 283. So right then and there, you can clearly see that they're the ones that are setting the tempo. San Diego are the ones that are really marching forward. Unfortunately, as head coach Mike Fata said after, scoring is the hardest thing to do in soccer. And so that's why you have low scoring affairs. But this is the positivity aspect of having ties. Nobody goes home empty-handed, but at the end of the day, it was still a hard-fought match here at Snapdragon Stadium.
Yeah,
over 400 more completed passes. I saw some metrics this morning, Tony. I think it was 21 passes into the box for SDFC against 3 for St. Louis. And when you looked at the 3, they weren't even extremely dangerous. This felt like a very safe night for San Diego FC defensively in terms of not really being threatened very much at all. And for a team that honestly going into, the previous weekend, we thought defense was going to be the big issue for San Diego FC. Just the fact that they've been able to put up 180 minutes scoreless now is surprising to me.
Absolutely. And that's one of the factors that have led San Diego to be in 4th place in the Western Conference, starting off at the 2 first matches. And talking to defender center backs Patty McNair and Chris McVeigh, they love having that blanket, that safety net of the captain, Sverskov, right in front of them. This individual is the metronome, and he's literally setting the pace and is also giving the freedom for defenders to move forward and attack with the ball. And essentially, to break it down, if you have the ball, that means your opponent doesn't have it, and they're not going to be able to really do any sort of damage. And so having that mentality, that trust, that team chemistry is honestly one of the most impressive aspects of San Diego FC moving forward. They've been together for less than 2 months training, and yet they've already seemed like they are established. They look like they're a team that is ready to dominate and possession, and also just stick to that philosophy. And as you saw, sometimes this does end up being a 0-0 draw, but it is a net positive at the end of the day when it comes to standings.
Tony, we saw Chucky Lozano leave the field with an injury. Anything updated on him? What's the latest there?
He is going to be undergoing an MRI today. There should be more news coming out, and we are on the beat to see if there is more information right now. We do know that this is a hamstring injury on the left side, the lower body. As soon as more information comes on, we'll make sure to have it on all socials at sandiego.football.
Would you agree, Tony? I mean, as I said earlier in the show, I'm watching the game from the north end. I got a flag in my face half the time, right? So, like, I feel like I lose a little nuance sometimes being in the stands, but it felt to me that when Chucky pulled up, that it became a lot more difficult for San Diego. It just seems like Lozano dominates so much attention from the defense that it would allow an Ingvartsen or a Dreyer to have a little, or a De La Torre to have a little more space to move. I thought De La Torre moved the ball really well, but it just felt like the finishing ideas with Lozano not out there for the final 60 minutes wound up being a little bit wanting.
Absolutely. And then you also put in Emmanuel Boateng out there, a veteran of MLS, in the 31st minute to replace him. He's making his debut in San Diego FC colors this season. And so there was definitely a sense of the team being a little frazzled as soon as Chucky was subbed off. Even across in the crowd, there seemed to be a lull in the energy. But that's the unfortunate part of the style of play, where if one player isn't at the top speed or needs to go ahead and adjust, needs some time to adjust, there is windows of opportunity for the opponents to take advantage of that, and that can lead to some goals. Fortunately for San Diego, that wasn't the case. Emmanuel Boateng is very familiar with this style of play. He himself was a Right to Dream graduate, so he knows exactly the positioning where he needs to be. But definitely that X factor of Chucky Lozano being on that left wing was taken out, and you really had to rely more on Anders Dreyer to really command through the right side, almost giving St. Louis that idea of, okay, well, they're going to go through this side. They have no other options for right now.
Tony, you've been around soccer a long time, so you can probably add more context to this. But as San Diegans kind of grappled with that chant that happened at the end of the game, and then the team putting up a anti-discrimination message on the video board and then addressing it after the game, and then you've seen mixed takes on social media. Like, what's your take on this? What is some overview thoughts that you can give us about this?
Well, as a Mexican myself, this is something that has been across Mexican soccer, Liga MX, Selección Mexicana, for years. And it's actually now being taken out of Liga MX out in Mexico. And you do hear this chant from time to time. Usually it's a moment in the match that the crowd senses frustration, unhappiness. Also going to add that usually that's still the inebriation period for a lot of fans as well, and caution to the wind. At the end of the day, it's an unfortunate part that reared its head here in San Diego. And as you can see, the team was ready to some degree with that with that messaging ready to go. However, it did seem like it was a little bit too late because there was that sound of that chant early in the first half. It did end up being louder and louder. But at the end of the day, my take is if it is something that's going to affect the team itself, you as a fan need to take yourself out of there and not hurt the team that you're supporting, whether that's a word, whether that's a phrase, whether that's a sign. If you are actively being a negative presence for your team that you say you support, stop doing that or support the other team. Might as well, or just take yourself out of the equation and be ready to face the consequence.
And along those lines, with further context, Tony, the Mexican national team has had to play World Cup qualifiers in empty stadiums because of this. CONCACAF cracks down, FIFA cracks down. You know, when the Mex Tour came to town and I was doing public address at Snapdragon, we drilled for literally like 4 hours before the game all the protocols, the people in the security people in the stands that are going to be relaying up to the match day operators about what's happening, whether it's isolated or whether it's a group comment, how step 1 is warning, step 2 is suspending the match, and step 3 is forfeit, and that these are real steps. I guess the point I'm making, Tony, is there's a lot of folks, I think, that went to the match Saturday that was their first soccer match, that are experiencing this chant for the first time, that are asking questions. Why is it bad? What does it matter? And so I think it's just really important to offer that perspective that, like you said, this has been well over a decade of trying to drum this out of the sport.
Correct. And something that I do want to echo as well is that this was not from the supporter section Frontera San Diego. This was something that was taking place across the stadium that eventually, like I said, carried momentum because of the frustration, because of the 0-0, because of the nature and energy at that time. But it wasn't necessarily from that supporter section, who have it very clear in their guidelines, as well as the team, that this is not allowed whatsoever. And to be completely honest, this is something that I hope is the last time that we have to discuss here in San Diego, because this should have been a celebration from first minute to the 90th minute. And unfortunately, we are stuck here having to discuss this and having to educate. And at the same time, it's one of these aspects that will unfortunately continue if it's not dealt with correctly by the team. And that's then the onus is on the team and the community to respond correctly, because this is the soccer community. Even if it is not you yourself who are saying that, it's still part of something that's representing the name of San Diego.
Yeah. Tony, what's next for SDFC? It looks like they're, is it Real Salt Lake that is next? The team they're playing? What's that matchup look like for you?
Correct. So match day 3 is going to be against Real Salt Lake on Saturday, March 8th at America First Stadium. Currently, Real Salt Lake is sitting in 8th place to San Diego FC's 4th in the West. They have one victory against Seattle Sounders, 2-0. However, they do have a 4-0 loss to San Jose Earthquakes. They are also in the CONCACAF Champions League, which is a midweek tournament across CONCACAF and different teams from Mexico, Central America, and Canada. But this is going to be a matchup of styles. Former head coach for San Diego Loyal, Nate Miller, is actually part of this coaching staff that is very dynamic, and it should prove to be a wonderful attacking affair. Again, pending who the stars are going to be, and we'll see if they are battle tested. And we'll have to check the weather report. A couple of weeks ago, there was a snowstorm, a blizzard happening in there, and they had Miami playing. I'm not sure Messi's ever played in such cold temperatures.
I love that I called it Real Salt Lake and you called it Real Salt Lake, which is what the answer is, like the Real Housewives. But anyways, as I learn more and more, Tony, and as I'm sure Dexter will call and ask us anything and correct me on that. I hope you do, Dexter. And also whoever was in the chat last week saying I get everything wrong. So thanks, Tony, being so nice about it.
Great. Hey, man, I always appreciate you. It was great to see you on Saturday. As well, of course. Tomorrow, you and I will have Soccer's Overtime on San Diego Punto Football. But tonight, boy, this has got to be a banger of a show tonight, Tony. Promote it on the way out.
Absolutely. We have the show Two Balls and a Mic. We've been doing it for 266 consecutive weeks, and this is the first week where we have a home opening, a home game for MLS to discuss and break down. It's going to be on our YouTube channel, san diego.futbol. San Diego Punto Football. We also stream on various social media platforms, and on our website, sandiego.futbol. We have some articles by Abe Cepeda and Alejandro Chiva Villaseñor, as well as different pictures and content across all our socials.
Really appreciate it, man. Always appreciate your insight. Have a great week. We'll chat to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
There he goes.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Good stuff.
Thank you and goodbye.
It's, the real Salt Lake, not the fake, not to be confused
No.
with the fake Salt Lake.
No.
So it's the real Salt Lake.
There's probably some Real Housewives
I'm
of
sure
Salt Lake.
there is Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's actually one of their most dramatic
Is it really?
franchises. It's you would not expect it. Or maybe you would, I don't know, but a lot like there's already been someone that's gone to jail. There's like, I mean, it's there's that franchise is spicy over there in Salt Lake. Yes.
Wow.
So
which one of them is going to be on Traders next season? I
yeah.
wonder?
Oh yeah. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Someone will end up there, but good. So they don't play. The 8th is what, Saturday? That's when SDFC plays.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's going to be a good match. And Nate in the chat, it's cold, dude. I mean, depending on the day.
Yeah.
They literally have played games in snowstorms in Salt Lake City.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's
so they don't halt the match for
no,
yeah.
they play Lightning. They would for Lightning.
Yeah.
But no, they'll play.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah,
playing the elements.
It is. They will play in pouring rain. They will play in snow. They will play in horrible wind. They will play.
There was this one play. Can't wait for people to use this against me. There was this one play where like everybody was kind of like lined up in a straight line, and then some dude like got on the ground and like was like behind them, and but he was on the ground like kind of like lying down.
Oh yeah, on a free kick. Yeah. Okay, so here's
I just wondered why he lies down.
Okay, I'm going to tell you. Because there's a lot of deception that's taking place in a free kick. And what you're talking about is the wall, right?
Yeah, they made the wall.
They made the wall. The wall has to be a certain like 10 paces or whatever. I don't know exactly. So don't, someone go, oh, it's 5 paces, you idiot. Whatever. They have to be a certain distance away. Now, the guys line up in the wall. Sometimes they try to shoot over the wall, right? At which point the guys in the wall jump to try and get their heads on the ball. But what if you did a little fakeroni and you got them to jump and then you shot it right underneath the wall?
And then there's this guy laying
There's a dude laying there to block it.
Wow.
That's his job. His job's to lay there just in case and block the ball if the wall jumps.
Like blocking it with his body?
Yeah,
or is he just trying to like hit it with his hand?
No, you can't use your hands.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You can't use your hands.
Yeah, just like thunk, just like you're a speed bump, basically. Human speed
point
bump.
Of soccer.
Boink, hit that, and then get up.
Sounds like it'd be a little painful for that.
I mean, it could
guy.
be.
Yeah.
I think it very, very, very rarely happens that homie actually takes one.
I didn't know that. I just saw him lie down, and I said, "I wonder what that's all about." Why are you lying there? Why are you lying there, buddy?
And now you know.
Yeah, why are you chilling on the ground? It looked like when people take a picture and then there's like that one dude that lays down the front, like with his hand on his head, and
Now, if that guy did do that pose while he was down there, just like, hey, that would be something.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that would be a good fake. Is he really ready? Is he not?
Oh,
right.
All right. Let's take a time out. When we come back, we'll hit reset on some of the other topics that we have been discussing today, including the San Diego Padres and the world of ridiculous halftime try and do it promotional gimmicks. I think came to a brand new level over the weekend, and then someone actually beat it. We've got the video. We've got the video proof. When we come back, Annie and Elsten roll until 2. Quinn and Chris check in then on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. 124. It's the Annie and Elsten show, and we're back. It's a weird day in that we are a very Padre-oriented show, and the Padres are big old zeros today, giving us nothing, which is fine. They got to take a day off. I mean,
I saw Sammy post a picture from the like where the fans watch on the fields. I think he just went down there, tried to find some people.
Just like poking around?
Yeah. No, I think that picture's old, actually.
Okay,
I don't think he actually went down there. Yeah.
Could you imagine if the poor
kid what if he did?
left the coffee shop after talking to us and just wandered around empty fields?
And like there were some fans there that just didn't realize there's nothing happening today. So,
Well,
no,
hi, I'm
think...
Sam Levitt, pre and post game show host. Would you like to talk to me? I know. You can't see Manny Machado today, but you can see Sam Levitt. Here I am.
Oh, no, man. I think he got some photos in previous days, but it was pretty funny.
It was. We chatted Padres, of course, in the 11 a.m. hour, and you can go back and hear the whole thing, including a conversation with Sam Levitt. I think if we were to recycle what has happened over the last 3 days at Padres spring training, I can really only look at a couple of things. You had Matt Waldron and Stephen Kolek pitch well, while Randy Vasquez did not. So that would, at least in some level, seem to indicate that the fifth starter job is at least getting sorted. A little bit. Whether or not a final decision will be made, we know that won't happen for weeks, but it's at least sorting a little bit. And right now, if they were out on the racetrack, I think Matt Waldron is out there in front, and I think Kolek is, pretty close on his heels or drafting behind him. And I think old Randy stumbled over the first hurdle. I didn't even know there was a hurdle on my metaphorical track, but there was for him.
Yeah,
and he stumbled on it. 12 hits allowed in 4 innings. I mean, obviously not good.
Jackson Merrill had himself a nice home run, a nice dinger, sent one out there. So I mean, overall, it's what you would expect of spring training, right? Like you have some good stuff, you have some late inning. Hey, who are you watching in those? As far as pitching, Padres actually have looked fairly good with pitching, I think, and even with some of their lower levels, like they're not guys that are going to make the team, but at least giving themselves, like I said, some confidence and some looks in spring training. And if you get called up, you kind of know what you're working with there for sure.
I couldn't agree more. I think when you're looking right now, in particular at the Padres bullpen, take a look at the bullpen. Robert Suarez had one slightly off outing, but he looks good. Jason Adams been perfect. Jeremiah Estrada's been perfect. Morahone's been really good. Yuki Matsui has been really good. Marinaccio has been really good coming out of the pen. Jacob has been good. Almost everyone except for Tom Cosgrove has been good so far in their appearances in spring training. And it does make you feel pretty excited that, Brian Hawing is working his way back. Some of the reporting is that he might miss a month or so as a result of his shoulder situation. But that just adds one more spot to the bullpen. That could be not impossible. A Brito being in there as a long man. I think if you're going to stretch out Kolek, you've got to put him at AAA and let him start.
I think so too. It's been fun to watch him and see him he's got a good 6-pitch mix, and see him use everything and kind of mess around with his pitch mix and what he could do and the way he's been changing it up. I think that's been fun to watch for him. But it is early, and although he has spent a lot of his career in the minors as a starter, you're still asking him to make that jump at the big league level. So if he doesn't get it and Waldron does, I think that's just fine. If for some reason Kolek starts, but Waldron starts in the minors for some reason, I think you're going to see them both throughout the season. But my money is also on Matt Waldron probably starting the season. And then you kind of know you've got Stephen Kolek down there, and you're ready to kind of make the move if you have to, or if someone needs like a little bit of a reprieve. I don't see them going to a 6-man rotation at this point, just because they have so many Thursday off days that you're really going to push guys out, I think, a little too far if you do that. They've got like a Thursday off day, I think, almost every week, to start the season. So I think that's the way that they're kind of incorporating that rest time for Yu Darvish already. But hey, you never know, right? Like, I mean, they could decide that they want to do that at least for a time.
I could see it happen at some point in the year. But to be honest, I think it would be a strategic error to go to a 6-man rotation, because this team is built on a big four of Cease and King and Darvish and Pivetta. So if you take it where 4 out of 5 times you've got one of these great starters you count on, and you turn that into 4 out of 6 times, you've got one of those great starters that you count on. I just think it decreases the overall effectiveness of the pitching staff. And as you said, there's enough off days that this shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and that's kind of what Mike Schilt pointed to at the beginning of the season when he was asked about the 6-man rotation. He kind of said, look, you never rule anything out, but at this point, they didn't really see themselves going into it because of those off days. Some interesting stuff. There was an interesting story in the UT that Kevin Acey did about Yu Darvish, and that he's kind of looking to, how long will he pitch? Will he pitch until the end of his contract? Will he retire early? It sounds like everything's on the table for him depending on how his body feels, but he's very cognizant, and I think the team is very cognizant of the fact that they want this guy to stay with them into the playoffs, hopefully for them if they should make it into the playoffs. And so they're going to have to build in some rest for him, or maybe even he doesn't go as deep into games. Maybe, you pull him out, you get a long guy in there for some middle innings. They're going to have to kind of play with that. But the good thing is what you just said, the beginning of the season, you have that built in with those off days.
Yeah, you really do. And I think overall, I really like the direction of the Padres pitching staff. I'm knocking the Formica here. We hope that nobody gets hurt. We hope that they roll in with this staff as designed. But I like the direction of this. And then you really are getting down to, okay, is left field going to be all right? What's going to happen out of the catching position? Does a guy like a Tirso Ornelas grab that DH role and just say, hey, it's mine. You can't have it. It's mine now. Yeah. Do he and Oscar Gonzalez team up on something like that? The depth of the organization is starting to show itself. Of course, when we get to the real games, that's when we're going to find out, because I'm not expecting our left field platoon of Hey Joe to match 4.8 WAR and an all-star appearance and everything that Jerks and Profar provided last year. They just need to be good enough. You know what I mean? They don't have to be that good. They just have to be good enough.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to be able to at least not cost games, which I think I do believe that they are good enough to do that. And hopefully you see some of that production build as they get it more closer and into the regular season. But you have some options. I mean, the good thing is that you do have some options. They're not necessarily proven at the big league level. So I think that's something that is debatable, right? Like you've got to see that happen. But they at least that's better than I think having terrible camps by some of these guys. They've been able to get some hits against good pitching, some good pitching that's been out there. I saw Cease has added a 2-seam fastball to his mix. So I guess Mike Schilt really likes that. Okay. And we'll see how often he's throwing that, but it's a compliment to the slider and, pitch that runs in against righties and the slider that breaks away from it. And then Apple TV just announced their schedule for the Padres or for MLB, and the Padres have 4 games in the first half already on Apple TV.
Just giving you more reasons for that Apple TV Plus subscription to stay intact.
Yeah.
You got MLS. Now you got 4 Padres games. I love the Friday night Apple TV games.
It's grown on me quite a bit. It really has. And you can change the broadcasters if that's not your cup of tea to the radio broadcasters, which is a great feature that they have. I think some of their stats I can do without, some of them, but some of them are pretty cool. And I like the way that they're 4K and all their good camera work. But May 16th against the Seattle Mariners, that's a home game. June 13th at the Diamondbacks. June 20th against the Kansas City Royals. And I guess one more May 2nd at the Pirates. So
you just mentioned funny stats on the screen. Now that we know that baseball and ESPN are in divorce, like how much is ESPN going to screw around with that terrible win probability
I
thing?
feel like
now?
Apple does. Doesn't Apple do the win probability too?
But they do
they don't leave it up the whole time.
Oh,
No,
okay. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like I feel like they're going to start games now. Like every Dodger game will start with Dodgers 98%. And then after the second inning, it's going to switch to, why are you watching? This game's totally over. Yeah. Like just little, maybe you should leave. ESPN2 has a great college lacrosse game on. Maybe switch to that.
They throw up a bunch of other probabilities on there too.
ESPN or Apple?
No, Apple.
Yeah.
Probability of getting a hit.
It's like probability of getting a hit.
Yeah.
His probability of getting a hit is low. All right, well, might as well turn it off then. There's 2 outs.
Go up and go to the bathroom, I guess.
Yeah. No, this guy's not getting a hit.
That was actually something with Randy Vasquez is a lot of those hits for him came with two strikes, and so he's just having trouble putting guys away.
You know why? Because he's got 6 pitches, but not one of them is plus. So what that means, he's always got to keep the other guy off balance and have I thought it was a slider and it's a curveball. Oops, I popped out, but when you don't have that put away pitch, it's 2 strikes, and now I throw my slider and you're doomed. You know, then you wind up being Randy Vasquez, bouncing back and forth between the big leagues and not. Okay, before we go to break and open up the lines, a little kicker story here for fun on a Monday afternoon. So as you know, most both pro and college basketball games will have some kind of halftime contest where they'll bring down, especially in college, right? Bring down a student from the student section. And it's usually ludicrously hard, right? Like hit 3 half-court, jumpers, or hit a free throw and a 3-pointer and a half-court shot and do it in 24 seconds, or this or that. And it just gets harder and harder. So Bradley University came up with, I think, the toughest one of these I've ever seen.
There's a couple of these. A lot of schools do this.
So an undergraduate,
it's usually to win a car or something.
An undergraduate is given a putter and a golf ball on a polished hard court basketball court.
Everyone's watching.
They are put behind the basket on one side of the court. And the ask is to roll a putt all the way across the court to the other side where there is a cardboard cutout and there is a golf ball hole sized hole. It's no more than 1.05 times the size of the golf ball.
Very difficult.
And to put it through that hole, you could give Rory McIlroy 300 chances to hit this. And I would say the odds would be very strongly against.
Like you said, it's the surface too. It's this shiny, polished hardwood floor. It makes it very, I think, difficult to
necessarily impossible
for it to go where you want it to go. Wait, what does he win if he gets this?
A car.
A car. Okay.
And yet, at Bradley University, roll him. He looks. He putts.
That was a good stroke.
Look how small the hole is.
Oh, he doesn't.
Bang. Boom. Roasted.
He had a little curve to it. Like he knew his stuff right there. He must golf.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's
It's,
kind of,
it's on a court. It's not like you can read the court.
It's
he can read
the dumbest luck.
The sweat on the floor somewhere or something. It is the dumbest luck, but it was perfect. It was perfectly
literally
placed.
He probably hit a sweat state.
Yeah.
Let's see, right?
He had
rolls
just
a couple
the right
times
amount.
back and forth.
Rolls a couple times. It almost looks like it's just going to be right off course.
Just nails it.
I hope he gets the car. You know how sometimes you don't really get it?
Right.
No, what was that? The Charlotte? Didn't Charlotte have a...
They took it away.
They
They're
took it
like,
away.
Sorry, it's just a white t-shirt you get.
Yeah, we didn't think you'd actually do it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Here's a PS5 for Christmas. Never mind. Here's a Hornets jersey.
Yeah,
here's a car model kit.
sick.
That's what we meant. Have fun putting that together in your room.
No,
Sick.
homie got I think it was a Mazda.
Oh.
Homie got a Mazda.
Good for you, dude.
that. Yeah.
I think
Your college popularity, it'll go down in infamy,
The rest of your life.
That's
yes.
right.
The rest of your
Someone will
life.
make t-shirts with you on it.
Those 9 seconds of that ball rolling across the court.
He's gonna have a podcast soon. He's gonna be like,
And
you
then
know,
a- and then
a
a
Bitcoin.
meme coin.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a meme coin.
And then
They'll
it
pull the rug
grace.
underneath everybody.
It'll all happen. It's all coming up for Bradley Guy.
I love it. Bradley Guy. What a name.
Bradley guy.
That's not his name. He
Oh,
went to the
okay.
University of Bradley.
He's that
Oh, wait,
Bradley.
you're right, yeah.
Bradley guy.
He's a guy at
That's why I had
Bradley.
the t-shirt that said Bradley.
That's right.
It wasn't just his
That's why
name.
everybody was wearing Bradley. See, look, they all came out to
They all
support him.
came
Everybody's
out.
wearing his name. Bradley guy.
All Bradley's friends were there. 12,000 of them.
All 9,000 of them.
Say it's a
All
Monday,
there for
but
him
it's
at that
just
thing.
every day.
Even the basketball team wore his name on his jersey.
Wild. The solidarity. The solidarity
He
was
did it.
huge.
Look at what
Is that a
support can
mascot?
give
Is that guy
you.
dressed up?
Okay.
It's a life-size Bradley. Wow.
All right, let's take our last break.
Uh,
It's time to open up the phones for Ask Us Anything. Let's do it. Let's have a huge Monday on the phones right now.
What could
833
Dexter correct us on today?
Call in, Dexter.
Yeah.
I gave you a
Yeah.
plethora of things.
833-288-0973 is our phone number. 833-288-0973. You've got 12 minutes to call the show. 12 solid minutes. If you call during these 12 minutes, we'll put you on hold. We'll put you on the air. All we ask is that you have a question ready to ask the show. Let's go. Annie and Elsten, Ask Us Anything is next on The Fan. All right, wrapping things up on this edition of Annie and Elsten. We've got callers lined up. We'll be back with you tomorrow, of course, 4 more hours of the program. Padres will be back in action tomorrow. We will invent some stuff to talk about between here and tomorrow morning. I don't think literally anything will happen in San Diego sports between here
famous last words.
and tomorrow morning.
That's right.
Who knows what could happen?
Right. Well, in my personal opinion, nothing, but
Mhm.
maybe something. And something would be better than nothing.
Chris in the chat has a good question. He said, "Did I
Mhm.
miss Annie asking Craig about his Chrome?"
You did
what
not.
what did you wear?
You did not. You did. It's
Yeah.
never been brought up.
Well, I heard you say something in Ben and Woods,
Did I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
We
What
asked
did I
you
say?
about it.
like in the break, that like you wore a silver suit or something.
Well, I just went ahead and left it out there, and I wondered, was somebody going to try and search for photos
Mhm.
because they are out there
Oh wow.
with me tagged. So I'm
Brayden?
sure they're findable, but
We'll look for it if you want.
I'm not saying I want you to. You don't have to. Certainly, you don't have to. You can feel free to
Annie's
do
looking
nothing.
right now.
You can feel free to do nothing. But
I know I have no internet, so clearly someone doesn't want me to see these photos.
good job, Adam. Right on time.
Mhm.
They're classified.
Yeah, they're classified.
But yes, I did. Let me just say this: the outfit was a gigantic hit.
Oh wow.
It
Okay.
was a gigantic hit. Even from the moment I walked up to the trolley stop, perfect strangers were coming up asking for photos with me. Have
Look
their,
at you.
have their picture taken with me. People were asking me for interviews. I
Oh.
was somewhat declining them. I was acting in character because I didn't want to be me.
Acting.
Well, yeah, I want to be
you
like,
put on the suit,
"Hi."
you're someone different, Braden.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you're a different
Exactly.
person.
You're a different
Yeah.
person when you put. Well, it wasn't just a suit. I
What
had
in the Comic
had
Con is
the-
going on?
Yeah.
I had the chrome suit.
This
Was
cosplay.
it like a suit like a gentleman's suit, or was it like a suit like a
A suit. Yeah, a suit.
okay a suit
Yeah,
a
like
suit, suit, like a suit.
jacket,
Mhm,
slacks,
mhm,
all silver or chrome,
mhm.
as the case may be. A tie, same material tie.
See, I thought it might have been one of those things that you put your body in, you zip up or whatever.
No, that'd be a bodysuit.
Oh yeah, a bodysuit.
Yeah,
right,
no, this is a suit.
That'd be
suit.
hilarious too.
Yeah.
Suit. And then I had a blue shirt to go with the silver because it's azuli chrome.
Yeah.
And silver sunglasses, and I had a silver wig. I had a silver wig, so that I would be
Uniform.
yeah.
Curly hair, straight hair. What
it's-
kind of
So
hair is it?
on Amazon, it was described as the game show host wig.
Oh wow.
And I don't know.
That's
perfect.
I don't know exactly which game show host it was supposed to be, but
It says game show. Craig's gonna
Mm.
buy it. Big game show guy.
pretty much that was it, Braden.
Yeah.
I didn't want some curly frizzy thing, I thought that would look really lame. So yeah, big hit. People on the trolley talking to me, a lot of people stopping me at the game. Then your drip is this or that, immaculate or this or that.
Drip.
Drip.
Hey,
So-
you made it when they use the word drip.
Yeah, I think I think it turned out good.
Okay.
I think it turned out good. So,
Why don't you just show us the picture?
well, I don't know. I got to find one.
Okay.
Now I
Yeah,
gotta
it's
find
not
one.
on his accounts.
Right, because
we
I didn't.
can't find.
I didn't put any on my accounts, but plenty of people tagged me though. Like people are even messaging me like, "Is it okay if I tag you?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's fine."
Oh, this would
But-
be in your tag stuff.
So yeah, you got to look under
You
tag.
got to really do some detective work.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't gonna just throw it out there. It's not about me. It's about the team. You know what I mean?
It's about the
It's about the supporters.
tag.
Just the
Supporting.
the
Mhm.
energy. Just keeping the energy.
Oh,
Right.
I gotta log into Instagram. I'm not gonna do
Okay.
it.
Yeah.
Oh well,
it's
let's just hit the
whole
bumper.
lot.
We'll see what
Okay.
happens. Who are they really?
Apparently, he's got an alter ego at soccer games.
833-288-0973. Hang on, here's one.
No, here we go. I found
You got
him.
it? You got one?
Well, I mean, they're on my phone. Wow. What a suit.
Oh, by the way, I had the silver sneakers too. That's the other part. I had
Silver
the
sneakers.
shiny silver sneakers.
Okay.
You see that on there?
Oh yeah, that's very silver. All right.
That's me. Shout out to my buddy Alicia, who's in this chat as well. She had a chrome top, so we were
Matching.
chrome buddies.
Well, I think that this was a successful foray into SDFC supporter costume culture.
Yes.
Yes.
The birth of the Chromaniac.
The
The Chromaniac. Is that your alter
Oh!
ego?
The birth of the
The
Chromaniac.
Chromaniac. Craig is the Chromaniac.
The maniac.
All right, Annie, you're gonna have to pick a sports team in town to do that with. I mean, it's only fitting.
TRM in the chat. I love that, Craig. It's not about me. It's about the team.
Where's Chrome
Where's
Suit?
Chrome
Yeah.
Suit?
That's right, TRM.
Talked about on the radio.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I don't want you to
wants
see
us
it.
to find it.
I don't want you to
not
see
Craig.
it.
Wants
I
us to
didn't
find
bring it up. I didn't play it in your lap.
Probably texted Chris and said, "Hey, put it in the chat.
No,
put it in
I
the
did
chat."
not.
Right.
I did
You know?
not. I did not.
Now, I do want to
Oh.
say, like in the picture, you've got like a look on your face of like alter ego Craig.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
you're
The
feeling yourself in a different
Chromaniac.
way. Right, right. The Chromaniac. It's got a Chromaniac look.
Chromaniac.
I mean, it definitely is a you like nailed the silver, the whole obviously like the chrome part.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I got the chrome
Yeah,
down.
yeah. The wig looks silver too. I mean, a game show host, I guess it's like distinguished game show host
Yeah,
or something.
sure.
Yeah,
You know?
Wake
Yeah.
Martindale.
Emmett Brown was the game show host. Doc Brown, game show host.
1.81 gigawatts. 2-1, I think. Here's New York Mike. What's up, New York Mike?
Hey, that story reminds me of the late 70s. Me and the wife went to Disney World in Orlando, and they had a conehead mask. Not just the conehead. It was the whole face mask and everything. It was like $100-something bucks. And I said to my wife, I said, I got to have that stuff.
I gotta have it.
Gotta have it.
I got to have it. So I used to wear it to Shea Stadium at the Met games all the time. I was constantly on TV.
Oh.
I was constantly signing autographs. One day I drove Claudel Washington home from the after the game, me and my buddy, and we drove him to the airport. And he gets out, and I had a picture of me at the Conehead, right? And I said, Claudel, do me a favor, sign this for me. He goes, what do you want me to write on? I said, I don't know, put 2 Conehead. And he wrote 2 Conehead, Konehead. Claudel Washington.
Oh, famously, there used to be a sign at Yankee Stadium, Annie, that said Claudel Washington slept here.
Oh, okay, okay.
Wasn't known as a really good outfielder.
Right.
Oh, that turned into just a story, but that was funny.
I love New York Mike's accent.
Me too.
I do. Yeah, I feel like you could heat something up in your pockets if you stood out in the sun. You could make it would be like a microwave, like
to
it
be
would
determined.
conduct heat.
Yeah, it was nice and cool
Yeah,
on Saturday,
yeah.
so that wasn't a
Okay.
problem. Here's Dexter. What's up, Dexter? What you got for us?
Okay, so challenge accepted, Annie.
Oh, God, Dexter.
I wasn't going to call. Okay, here's the thing. I wasn't going to call in because I felt really terrible because I did not mean to open up this like massive tornado of
How dare
criticism
you.
against you.
You
So-
think
So
I'm way less
I
sensitive than that.
I humbly apologize and ask for your forgiveness regarding that because
Thanks,
I
Dexter.
did not do that. It was basically you ended up being the person who made that mistake because believe it or not, everybody at your station makes that same mistake.
Okay.
When it's a foreign language, they say it incorrectly. So it's not just you, it's everybody who's on the air at that radio station who's like really, really bad. Woods actually
God.
doesn't say it. He lets Ben put his feet in his mouth. And Woods
Everyone's
corrects
taking
Ben.
strays right now.
But so trust me, you're not the only one who's made that mistake. And everybody jumped on you like you were the only one doing it. No, you weren't the only one. But my question is, Craig, how did it feel to cosplay? Because now, if you go to Comic-Con,
Right.
you could be the character,
excuse.
quote unquote, Mr. Moon, who is a lawyer type character in the Marvel comic book
Yeah, the
Moon
Moon
Knight.
Knight.
The
Yeah,
only
it could be
difference
This
is
is a great
Could be
idea.
Mr. Knight. Yeah, you're
yeah,
absolutely
the
right.
only difference is he wears a complete total
Yeah,
face
he
mask that
does.
covers his whole front of his
Yeah.
face.
You could get that for Comic-Con.
I could. Dexter, it's not impossible now.
Or you can just go as the Chromaniac.
Anything's
Maniac,
possible.
maniac.
I think you need
See,
your
I knew
own.
you'd like
I think you
Chrome-
need your own comic book.
I knew you'd like Chromaniac.
Chromaniac.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
I
Good
mean,
name.
well, it's self-appointed. You gave yourself the name.
It's a good name.
Giving yourself a nickname's kind of that's a foul for sure. Self-appointed nickname.
It's not about me. It's about the club.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Oh,
Gwen and Chris
everyone
is
took
next.
pictures with me. Bye.